Welcome, everybody, to the Making Awesome podcast. This is episode 227. Yeah, we're doing two in person because we can. We snuck into Bondtech. Don't worry about it. Ain't no one got to know. Okay, it's just between us girls. And it is Mother's Day in the United States, and Bondtech let us in. By the way, for those that have. We're allowed to do this, don't worry. It is Mother's Day in the United States, so we thought it would be fun to bring on Jacob's mom, co-owner of Construct 3D. As we like to say, it's Mother Thérèse. This is Thérèse Lord of Construct 3D. Introduce yourself to the folks at home.
Hi, everyone. Yep, I am Thérèse, and I get called all sorts.
Yeah, I'm really bad at pronouncing your name.
Every derivative of Thérèse you can imagine. And yeah, I am the non-techie part of the Construct 3D team.
You're the business side.
I am the business side and the short straw side. I get short straw for anything Jacob doesn't want to do, I get to do.
I like to say I get to play with the toys while Mum makes everything else possible. It's true, I get to play with the toys and I literally be like, hey, I get fun equipment, and Mum is there dying as I buy more stuff and forget to put it in the VAT folder.
Receipts.
Every single time.
You always got to have the receipts, and we're already being told that you are much quieter than me, so I'm just going to move that a little closer. Madcat's like, you're... It says, Madcat said that your volume is too low. It is one mic. I'm just really loud.
Shock horror, the American loud? Never.
Thérèse here has a regular voice. I don't. This should be obvious to you guys. Creator said, oh no, we forgot the 3D Musketeers team in Sweden. I knew we forgot something. Wait, does that mean I could just get free healthcare? Because, I mean, if someone could just ship the cat over, we're cool. Don't worry about it.
Oh, what's even funnier is Amber's saying it's also a directional mic.
Yes, it is directional out the front, directly.
Which just makes you even louder.
Yes, I'm very loud.
Or me just quieter.
Well,
no.
I think I speak normally.
No,
you do.
Yeah,
I'm loud.
Okay.
A directional mic means it only should be picking you up.
Yeah.
Anything
picking you
off,
up.
It's quieter.
Yep. So yes, it is Mother's Day, so you guys can ask anything. We've got some I used the wrong link. We've got some questions already panned out here for Thérèse. We're going to be talking all about just what it takes to be a mom in this industry. Because you know what? It's kind of tough, isn't it?
Yep.
Right? It is kind of tough.
It's definitely tough on many levels. Being a mom,
yes,
is
yes.
one thing. Being a mum and a director of a company is another. Being a mum and a director of a company into 3D printing is a different level.
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit. So can you give us a history of Construct 3D? Because, I mean, obviously, Jacob has a massive passion for this industry.
Yeah.
You do now.
Yes.
So can you give us a little bit of history of the company?
Don't think I had a choice.
No, yeah. Jacob still lives at home, so
Thank you, cost of living crisis. Thank you.
That's no better in the States. So that one, that one I can't even be mad at him for. It's just a lot everywhere.
Yeah. No. This really all started because Jacob has a certain type of brain. He thinks in a way that he has got good spatial awareness, good attention to detail, and he can manipulate things in his heads.
Multiple heads.
Wow, Jacob, you're a hydra. No, he can manipulate
that
things.
joke's too easy. That joke's too
I know.
easy.
I was expecting you to make it. I'm
Too
kind
easy.
of disappointed you didn't.
No.
You're
No, also,
refraining.
Watch how Mum has completely no idea what we're talking
I
about.
have no idea what you two are
And
talking
that's
worry
going to
about
stay there.
Don't worry about it.
I'm thinking scientific here, but
No,
obviously
keep
not.
talking, keep talking.
Okay, so I don't. Have I said something rude?
No.
Okay.
You're good.
No.
Okay.
We wouldn't be laughing.
Okay, that's good. So, But anyway, so the best thing for someone with Jacob's kind of brain, with like 3D visual spatial awareness and all this, I just thought 3D printer. When he was 18, I spoke to my husband. We had a bit of a natter about, we've always made a point of Jacob always having Christmas present and then separately a birthday present, because his birthday is always very close to Christmas. So we always made a point of, this is Christmas. We even got to the point where we never had a Christmas tree for his birthday. We always just take all the decorations off the Christmas tree and make like the happy birthday bunting on the Christmas tree instead of the usual Christmas stuff. So we made a point of giving him birthday. So that was the only time on his 18th birthday we actually combined the two, because we bought him a Flash Forge. We actually bought him.
Which one? Creator 2.
The Creator 2.
Pro.
Okay. All right, so that, I believe that was the MakerBot Replicator 2X clone.
Yes, it was the 2X clone.
So it was a dual extruder printer.
It was a dual extruder, dual head on the same heatsink bar.
Not inductive. No, not an inductive tool changer.
And this is, oh God, this is almost a decade ago now. So printers were still not very good back then.
No, they were not. So
you had every issue imaginable. On top of that,
probably a bad extruder that you could have replaced with a Bondtech extruder, who are obviously sponsoring this since we're in their studio. So thank you to Bondtech. You can check them out. Links are below. But also, we have the link still where you guys can donate. Go to PayPal, use payments@bondtech.se to the Barncancerfonden. I'm going to always get that wrong, but it is the Children's Cancer Foundation here in Sweden. If you do want to donate, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, I ate Schuströmen, which is that really, 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 really nasty fermented herring, and we did it for the freaking children. So if that's not worth a like and subscribe, I don't know what is. And if you got some cash laying around, toss it over into Bondtech's PayPal, and we will be getting the final number probably late tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, because I'm probably going to be unconscious for the latter half of tomorrow. Since
you have like a 16 hour flight ahead of you. So
16 hours worth of travel tomorrow. But yes. Anyways.
I suppose, for me, I didn't know anything about 3D printers at that stage. All I knew was that this looked to me like a tool that could be used by somebody who had his kind of brain, that has got this creativity, and he could unleash it and make things real for what he imagined. And it was perfect. We did end up with lots of plastic things around the house. I mean,
that happens.
Things we might not even have wanted, but we got.
That's traditional. That's normal.
Okay.
Yep.
My husband and I did a lot of kind of nodding when he came to explain things to us, like, "Hey, Mama, do you know what this does?" And he goes on technical things, and we do the usual thing of, "Yes, honey." Pretend you understand type of thing.
Smile and wave.
Yes, just
smile and wave.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
So he did, he was off. And then I suppose things rolled on from there, because that opened up this world.
Right.
And he was well into it. He was obsessed about the whole thing, really. And
Jacob obsessed? I would have never guessed.
Oh, God, no. Yeah. I'm never obsessed over anything before.
No, definitely not food. And oh boy, do we have some tangents on food coming for you. Don't you worry. You thought we were going to stay on topic this podcast. You got another thing coming. Anyways, so completely obsessed with this, right? Just,
yes.
Jumped in head first and said, I'm now microplastics.
Well, it kind of evolved that he decided he was going to buy another printer and then buy another printer. But each time he wanted some kind of functionality from it that he didn't already have. And each one ended up being slow, didn't do this, that, and the other, and whatever.
So how long did the Flash Forge last before I stripped it?
Yeah, he did strip it as well. I cried. That cost us a lot of money.
In 2 weeks, I stripped it to its bare bones because it didn't come with cooling fans.
No.
That was my first proper mod. Was I badly engineering soldered, which is hot glue.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna start using that. What is this? Hot glue? No, it's engineering solder. Don't worry about it.
Well, it fixes the issue with regular solder, which is you can't bend the wires because solder snaps. So you wrap the wire normally, hot glue it together. You've resheathed the wire with hot glue, and it works.
don't do that, because if you do end up needing to solder the wire, you're never going to get the hot glue off it without burning it.
It's a Michael Reeves thing, so I've got vindication.
Deathminer says heathen. Yeah, wait a minute. You're in the UK.
What?
Wagos or Vagos.
No. He was still learning.
Yeah, this is the literal.
This is when you were less dumb.
Jacob's idea of
very
learning.
first mod I ever made on a printer.
Yeah.
So you were still like, I need to make it not fully permanent, just in case.
Oh no, I just wanted it to work, and I didn't have solder because I didn't have a soldering iron. It was that early in the journey.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, he was still learning, and there was a lot that he wanted to learn about. So the best way for him to learn about it is to take it apart.
I mean, yeah. Now, did Jacob have the problem of when he would attempt to put things back together, there'd be extra parts or extra screws that would just be left over?
This
I
time,
wonder.
no. Actually, no, because I knew I would be sleeping in the shed if I did it wrong.
Well, I heard you had a shed cat for a bit, so like that's a benefit.
To be fair,
for me,
would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I was ready with the remarks like father, like son, because my husband would take a car apart and then end up, replacing head gasket or something, which I did help with, may I add. Okay, because I'm very good at holding the Haynes manual and giving instructions and let him do it.
While he ignores the instructions and does whatever he wants.
But,
As is tradition. I wonder where you get it from.
so he ends up with like a handful of bolts, nuts and whatever, like, oh, well, it seems to be working, so they must be just not necessary.
You know what the leftover parts and the bolts and nuts are for, right?
No.
Weight savings and aerodynamics.
Absolutely, that's what it was about.
Everything goes faster with less bolts in it. Just ask Boeing.
Don't say that. She's getting on a Boeing tomorrow.
I'm scared.
It's Boeing in the United States. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh my word.
I'm not
I
flying on
am
a
not
Dreamliner
good
back
at
to the
flying.
United
I am
States.
She's not
not
a good
good.
flyer.
No, I am not good with flying.
Especially since the last major trip we went on, the plane caught fire.
It didn't quite catch fire,
Was
but it
there
was
an
bad
explosion?
enough. Yes, but it was
There you
still.
go. That's all you need to say.
Look.
There was an explosion on the plane, and I had to get up and start talking angry Jacob talk towards stewardesses, which is
Jacob
not
was
something you want
assertive.
doing.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, that is Jacob talking from a place of actual knowledge and experience. That's not Jacob just trying to direct people because he just wants them to be quiet. He's telling them this is what's wrong, this is what needs to be done, this is the process and the procedure for handling it. So for those that don't know the backstory to that, because the way that you're telling it assumes they know the backstory.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if they don't know the backstory, they're just going to think that you're a typical American.
I was not being a dick at all. I was actually trying to get the
May I?
safety side done. Yes, please
Right.
take over.
Oh God, we're telling
So-
the story.
At this stage. Okay. I am not great at flying. I still am not great at flying.
It's okay.
I am a very nervous passenger. The best thing that can happen to me is if I fall asleep. And I've never been able to do it because I'm so hypervigilant, because I'm always worried about what is that noise? What are we doing? Why are the flaps too early? And all this. I am way OTT, but I do manage a flight because I have to, because I have to get to places like being in Sweden and stuff like this.
Woo.
So, I brave it. Okay.
As one does.
But when we were going to Malta one day with this was back in 2022, wasn't it?
Yep.
And we had our printers loaded up in the cargo bay, and we were on our way out to do our Kickstarter film with Stargate Studios Malta, and we were meeting up with 3D printing nerd Joel Telling, David Tobin, his producer, and we're also meeting up with Joe Kasher, 3D Maker Noob at that time. And I think his name's changed, or has it gone back to 3D Maker Noob? I forget.
3D
Breaks-
Maker Noobs, breaks
breaks
and
and
makes,
makes.
and then 3D Maker Noob again, I think.
Which is where it should have been.
Okay.
Joe, noob. You're noob. We all know this. Okay. Thank you.
So we're meeting up with him there, and we're really excited. I'd hardly had any sleep all week, preparing for everything. There's a lot of logistics involved, and obviously I was organizing a lot of the event things, where the filament's going to arrive, where we're going to print, what we're doing, and so on.
Right.
So I was exhausted. So by the time we boarded the plane, I sat down, being nervous as I am. I started making sure my safety belt's done up. Jacob, if you make sure your safety belt's not over hyper mummy mode, okay?
Also, don't forget how tired you actually were.
I was.
So
I was-
getting to this point, this is the first time we've taken machines overseas.
Yep.
Yep.
So we
And
had
that's
a
not
van,
easy. Ask any company
Got it.
that shipped machines.
and it wasn't one machine; it was three
Three.
machines. And we didn't trust a shipping company, so we're taking them
You
on
shouldn't.
the airline.
Yeah.
That was also a kind of a mistake because it means we have to get them to the airline, which is a van. So we're driving a van and at this point, it was probably only like the second time we've driven a van, which is, again, not fun when you're not a van person. I love vans now because of it, but vans are difficult. So you're already hyper vigilant for multiple hours getting to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
We then, now this is during COVID, so
Yep.
we then try to put the printers on the plane.
With that unusual tariff thing, it's not a tariff, what do they call
Customs.
them? It's a special customs paperwork thing you have to be able to get your printers out.
ATA Carnet.
So, thank you. And you have to pay lots of money for it, by the way. It was £700 to get one piece of paper, to stamp it, to say you're allowed to get your printers in and not pay duty on it because you're bringing them back again.
That sounds like USA level bureaucracy.
Oh, it is. It's literally a passport for equipment, so you don't have to pay import-export taxes
Yeah.
every time you move the machine.
Across
And
borders.
for the right amount, it might just make sense to pay the import and
Well,
export
we've
tax.
We
learned
got
that
there.
now.
We got there. I think next time, forget the ATA carnet. We just go, pay the customs, come back, pay the customs. It will be cheaper than actually paying the ATAR.
Also,
But anyway,
because we're the manufacturers, they ask what the manufacturer costs. So we can literally put like $10 because it's a custom machine for one job. So I don't know why they do it that way, but
we don't know half these
Logistics.
rules. But anyway, half of this means that I was completely and utterly exhausted
Mm-hmm.
by the time I actually got to sit on the plane, and off we went, take off, and we're already, like 1.5 hours into the flight. It's a 3-hour flight. 1.5 hours into the flight, and I actually fell asleep.
Nice.
That's
fell a-
never
you-
happened.
she fell asleep over the worst bit of the flight, which is the Alps, which is kind of
Oh, because
like,
the air coming
Yep.
up and yeah.
it's
the
not a bad bit,
turbulence.
but it's enough turbulence to like keep Mum on edge,
Mhm.
and Mum fell asleep.
I did.
Then the
Oh,
next
is it kind of like, with a newborn baby, you kind of have to, bounce them a little bit.
No, when you're anxious. When you're anxious, the slightest turbulence is like, oh my word. It's like that moment. No. But I was so exhausted. I fell asleep. Anyway, 20 minutes later, I woke up. I'm thinking, oh, wow, I actually fell asleep on a plane. Wow. And I turned around to Jacob. Hang on, Jacob's not there. Jacob wasn't in his seat. Thinking, where? Oh, he must have gone to the
You were
toilet.
just John Cening, she couldn't see you.
Yeah,
So-
couldn't see me.
I looked up to see if he's maybe in the aisle in case he's at the toilets or look, and I saw him there. And he was talking to the chap that was sitting across the aisle. And the chap was having a bit of a meltdown. He was going, I felt it explode under my legs. Like, explode? At this stage, you go from semi-asleep, waking up mode, feeling really better.
You just had an
for hour.
adrenaline
I was
dump
like,
to rival all adrenaline dumps.
you have no idea. It was awful. Anyway, so I thought, oh God, oh my God, oh my God, explode. So what do you do? Well, my adrenaline side was saying, I need to shut up and listen to everything that's going on right now. And I was trying to listen without looking like I'm shocked to hear what I'm listening to. And then the stewardess comes up and she's talking to Jacob, and Jacob's saying to her, no, this needs, and it was very professional, needs to have this, and this done. And the captain needs to know right now. And she went off, and I'm going, yeah, do what he says, do what he says. And then she went up, came back again. She said, thank you, Mr. Lord. The captain has said he shut off all the electrics down that side. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God, we're halfway. We can't even turn back because that's an hour and a half that way, or 1.5 hours that way. We are right over the halfway point, and I have no idea what we're going to be doing. Anyway, Jacob will then explain to me in great detail what's happened with this explosion under the floor panel. By the way, we are over the wings.
Was probably not a good idea.
She asked, She did ask.
That was still
I just didn't
probably
go,
not a good
Well,
idea.
what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to say
Stop
something
lying.
went wrong? If you start lying,
I've got it
she's-
handled.
she's gonna figure out that I'm dumbing it down.
That's
And
fine.
then she's gonna panic more. Because she'll be like, "What is he not telling me?"
I just want you to lie to me next time. Just lie. But anyway, so at this stage, I know that we're over the fuel line because we're on the wings. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if that's an explosion, there's a fire and we're on Earth. 100 questions all in one go is not good for your brain.
That's not how
And
jet fuel
Jake-
works, but that's
Well,
okay.
I don't know that, but my mind is going overtime with making 5 and 5 and 27 comes out of it. Anyway, so Jacob then decides to tell me at great detail everything that's going on, which capacitor might have blown, what they've done with the USB ports they've just fitted and all this. I think, I just don't want to know. I just want to land right now. Anyway, so we get to the point where we are landing. And we've landed. In the meantime, by the way, may I just add, for the next hour and a half, I prayed a lot. The rosary was good for me. I did the rosary several times, and we got down to the ground. We landed. I got off the steps, and I looked so happy, so happy. Jacob goes, oh, let me take a photo of you. Click. And he puts it on Twitter and everyone's commenting, oh, doesn't your mum look happy? I'm going, you have no idea. Just really mad. But anyway, so we digress. Where were we? Yes, that was our journey at the start, because in between giving Jacob a flash forge and that moment, there was a lot of work that went in.
Mhm.
So we have a graveyard of printers. That's the first thing.
As one does.
His bedroom seemed to be filling up with more printers that he keeps taking apart and dissecting and doing all sorts with them.
As one does.
Mods here, mods there. Tells me all about it, like I'm really interested.
She doesn't care.
No, but that was part of the fun.
Why do you like torturing your mother?
It's fun.
Be nice.
So that went on. And then I suppose we got to the point where we had COVID. And that was the moment that I did what mothers do, volunteer their sons to help with, call for help.
I don't
with...
like to call it volunteering. I get it called voluntold.
Yeah, it's voluntold. Yeah, no, that's absolutely.
voluntold to do.
When someone else volunteers you, you're voluntold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a good cause. Everybody needed help with the PPE and everything else. And I got involved, not the exciting stuff. I volunteered to help in anything they needed me to, because this was part of a national network of 3D printers. It was N3DPS. And I got compliance. But it's fine. It needs doing, because there were a lot of headbands going around at that stage that were way too thin, and they were causing pressure points, sore points. They weren't safe. They weren't up to safety standards. But,
Right.
At that time, beggars can't be choosers. Just do it.
Would have been fine for the US. Don't worry about it.
Well, nurses needed it, doctors needed them, and just do it. Just print them. Jacob was churning them out like the clappers. And then Jacob got involved part of the design team with N3DPS. And apparently they did this thing where they all had to meet the brief for compliance to make sure you got a safety, a safe PPE shield.
Mm-hmm.
And his design won. And everybody then got his design sent out across all of UK, and that went further afield. We had people from Ireland, Berlin, and we had all sorts
That's cool.
abroad that were printing his design, and everyone's making them and giving them away to care homes, doctors,
Also,
hospitals.
Mum's completely minimizing the work she did in this. Hell, you got IGUS involved. You got a factory space. You got half a dozen other companies to either donate stuff or work with stuff. At one point, you were almost going to get a military. No, it was 2 military Herculeses.
There's a story.
RAF personnel to
None of this
volunteer
surprises me, by the
themselves.
way. You don't even know how good of a social engineer you are.
Yeah.
You would be.
She almost invaded a foreign country for plastic. This is the most American thing my mum's done.
That's the most British thing, sir.
No, but it was for oil.
Well. Okay, that's fair. American. I take that.
Mum
back.
was going to get 2 Herculeses to fly to Oman to get there before any other country could take the raw plastic nurdles from the factories to fly them back, because the entire country had no PET plastic pellets remaining
It's true.
to make the face shields themselves.
So if there's anyone out there that's kind of in the OSINT field, or wants to learn more about social engineering, just pay attention to Jacob's mom.
How many times did she socially engineer something today?
No, it's the train. The train ride up here in Sweden is, she would just leave us, okay? And it was Jacob, myself, Amber, we had Alan Mandic, Adam, and Adam Vector 3D, and then Taylor Canuck creator Nero. They were all with us, and it became a joke that you would leave us in one direction and then appear in the other, and you would not cross us at any time that we could ever notice it. Because what are you doing? You are communicating with people that do not speak your language to determine exactly where we need to go, exactly how we need to do it, when and where we need to be.
Yep.
And like, I am good enough in this whole, like, the business world is really just professional social engineering, and the better you are at it, the more you call yourself a marketer. But it just, seeing you do that, I'm like, I'm letting her do it. Normally,
you suddenly understand where all of this is.
Normally, Amber just looks at me like, I don't want to go talk to people, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll go talk to people. I'll do what I'm good at. And I'm like, I get to sit back. I don't get to do a darn thing right now. This is great. This is very nice. And we just get back, and I'm waiting for the list of things. There was a point on the train where they said where we needed to get off twice in English, and we were almost certain it was because of you talking to the conductors and all this. It was one of those moments of like, that is both impressive and scary at the same time. And every restaurant that we've been to, like we were just at Pizzeria San Marino. A shout out to the Pizzeria San Marino guys.
Amazing food.
Great kebab pizza. The kebab roll that Amber got was larger than her arm, and that's real numbers, not man math. Okay, she ate, I don't know, a fair bit of it.
A log, and after the entire meal,
it was larger than the Bondtech water bottle.
Oh, it was larger than the length of this laptop.
I would bet that the volume of that wrap, a V0, is smaller than.
I think you're right.
And it was incredibly affordable. The food was darn good. But you were listening to these guys talk, and then you realized they're not speaking Swedish, they're speaking Arabic. And what do?
Talk to them.
In Arabic. And then Amber, randomly ABBA came on. It's the first time we've heard ABBA the entire time here in Sweden. And both girls are going crazy. Amber goes up and says, oh, thank you for playing ABBA. What do? They turn it up and they play ABBA for the entire time that we're there hanging out with them. It's one of those moments. It's like, this isn't real life anymore. These people all have a very particular set of skills. And while you're not Liam Neeson, you are the Liam Neeson of communicators.
Look, all I did with Oman was ask. That's all I did. And they did have virgin pet, which I needed to get extruded into, because it was the pet G that was really running short in this country at the time of COVID. And although I scoured every supplier going, and the price kept going up and up and up at that time, because clearly there were some people were profiteering a lot on this. But bearing in mind, we were all doing it voluntarily, we're freely giving up our time to help the country. And there's these guys making lots of money on the back of that. So it makes you think about how things are. But anyway, so there was no pet G left, and it was running out. And I'd actually got in touch with, I forgot that I got in touch with the cabinet office. I got in touch.
You are literally the definition of what's the worst they're going to say.
Exactly.
No?
Exactly. Just ask, okay?
It's the you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
That's a reference.
Yeah, that's a U.S. Office reference that the Brits don't get.
Hey, I got it.
I'm no understanding of that.
It's an American sitcom show, I guess.
I
can sit her down and watch it.
Okay,
I
will be educated.
I think I enjoy it.
You like Friends, so I actually think that you would like it. Yeah, it is quite good.
Anyway. So, where were we?
MI6 agent confirmed. Nutty 3D says, Reliance 3D said, Jacob, do you need a brother? And we did get £2 from our good friend Doug earlier. He said, for the next lemon cake. Your lemon drizzle cake is like the
No,
it's like the big myth, and you know
it's so famous. It's been talked about multiple times on multiple episodes.
Are you talking about my normal lemon cake or my lemon and gin?
No, your
cake?
boozy lemon cake.
It was your boozy lemon cake,
Okay.
yeah, with the perfect layer of sugar. Like, I'm not even entirely certain how. I mean, I guess after you work around, you know, AA grade granite fixture plates constantly, you might be pretty good at getting things perfectly level. But yeah, that was
It's the attention to detail that matters.
And you know what? It shows in your all's machines. You know, it is all about the attention to detail. Yeah, and I guess you've learned a lot in, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Right?
If you don't ask, you'll never know.
So when did it become apparent that you guys were going to be starting Construct 3D?
Oh, that was dead easy. Dead easy.
I like how she says it's dead easy. For me, I had absolutely
No, you didn't know.
idea.
He didn't know.
Well,
He
he's
didn't
dumb
know
as a
at all.
box of rocks. That's why he's great for this show. Right? It's Dumb and Dumber, right?
Oh, dear. So it was very easy. During COVID, this thing happened where people started asking me, how is it he's printing so many face shields, you know? And I was saying, well, he's just printing them out on his printer, you know, and he's got several in his bedroom. As I said, he's had loads of printers, but one of them was his own that he built for himself because he'd got fed up of all the slow printers that didn't have certain things and didn't like the quirks, so he made his own. And then...
This story seems very familiar. I'm looking back at the Bondtech extruder sitting in the background and saying, huh, your origin story is very similar to Bondtech's. Like, this sucks. I'm going to do it better. But instead of doing a very small piece, you decided, screw it, we're going to make a big printer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual first prototype was like a meter by meter by meter.
Yes. Took up most of his
course.
bedroom space.
Because of course.
Yes. So that's how it kind of came about, because people kept saying to me, how is he printing them so fast? His was taking like 8 minutes to do one of the face shields, you know, the headband. And everyone else was saying to me, oh, it takes about 40 minutes. 40 minutes. So I kept going back to Jacob and saying, are you sure it's taking you 8 minutes? And that kind of thing. Anyway, that's... the orders started coming in at that stage. Can he print me? Can he build me a printer? You know, same as what he's got now. That's doing them every 8 minutes.
All of a sudden, people realize you actually know what you're doing. You become the bona fide expert in the area, right?
Well, we kind of went one step further because obviously we weren't a company at that stage. We were just volunteers, you know, and that was it.
Literally me, a room full of printers, and well, the entire idea was just print things for people. Never make printers.
Right.
I built a printer just out of spite to fix things. So I was there blind, unaware of anything my mum's like machinating behind the scenes. Because to me, it's just like, no, I finally have a printer that kind of works. Because it looked like a bomb, like quite literally. It's way too many wires. This is still before I knew how to solder. So it was literally just the world's worst bodge job, but to prove it worked. And I was happy. I was just printing things away. Beep, 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 boop.
See,
7
this is
minutes
the
apart.
moment that I could see there's a demand. There's people asking me. And at the same time, I was thinking, well, why wouldn't anyone want to print faster rather than wait for something that's going to take 40 minutes, get it in 8 minutes?
Right.
And you've got a decent quality part.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want to wait? So I kept saying to Jacob, you really, really need to think about this. I think if everything goes belly up on your master's degree, because he was still doing that, you might want to think about this, and you might want to, you know, we should really look into starting a business with this printer. There's a demand for this. And that's kind of how it came about. And if he did then decide, because I'm not pushing him into it, if he's not wanting to do it, you know, there's no point. And he decided, and that's what we did. He went 2 years into R&D to make it manufacturable. Because there's one thing building a printer for yourself, okay, and it's a completely different thing building a printer for manufacture for customers. So 2 years in R&D, perfecting everything, you know, organizing all the safety stuff and the compliance stuff. Guess who got the compliance stuff?
I don't. If you told me it was him, I'd say you're a liar. Because both he and I are making notes for the show like 2 hours before we go live.
If that.
If that. A lot of times it's just a concept of a plan. And then we just go live and we figure it out. Like I told you, I had a bunch of questions, but we're probably not going to get to 95% of them. So it's totally fine. I will say,
Yeah.
Doug did say here that he would like some if he's ever invited around again. So I think
He's very welcome.
I think those £2 were to be constituted as a bribe. And if you do want to bribe anybody, you can bribe the Barn Cancer Fund via payments at bondtech.se. You guys can donate over there. That is a charity that Bondtech feels very strongly toward, and they want us to support them as well. We've raised over 10,000 Swedish crowns for that charity this week alone. And if you would like to contribute to that, you can do so. Links are in that description. Hey, like and subscribe. Join our Patreon, support all those things, get some merch, all the fun things that we should be saying more often, and we just don't because we absolutely forget about it. And a huge thank you to Bondtech for even making this possible. Yes, thank you,
Also,
Jacob.
they gave us cool water bottles. Like, look at this. It's got
probably
my
should
name in
just
it.
pin
Like, look at that. I like that.
Okay, those water bottles. I'm like, oh, that's actually a really nice, a nice personal touch. And then I realized, wait, that is really brilliant. So if you put your friggin' water bottle down somewhere and walk away, like so many people do, it's got your name on it, so you know who it belongs to. That is really smart.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, yeah, it is a relatively, like when you own lasers, things like that are a relatively simple thing to do. It's just a little bit of time, and it does make a big difference. But when you have, how many people were here Thursday, Friday? 500 between the 2 days? Yeah.
Easy.
When you have that many people, things get misplaced. It just happens. I don't think anybody forgot their water bottles, because if they did, they know exactly who did it. And it is very, very smart. It was very smart. Mitch said, I thought Sweden would use the euro. I don't know why they don't. But, the same way we didn't think Britain would leave the European Union, but here we are. So
Same thing with Britain when we were in EU.
you still use the pound.
We still use the British pound. So there's some exemptions for certain countries that didn't want to convert. So, yeah.
Oh, why the euro's better?
Who knows?
Debatable. Debatable. I would happily debate it.
I am not in any position to debate what currency is better, because I'm on the US dollar. So
Also, for the first time, I've actually felt American money. It is straight up monopoly money. It's not real. There's no way it's real. There is like none of the security things any of the European countries have. It's literally just paper, and that's it. No wonder it gets copied so much.
But I still think the counterfeiters do a bad job. They always go after like the hundreds or the 50s or the 20s. Go after fives. Go after tens. Nobody checks those, right? If you want to copy American currency, fine. But if someone hands me $100 bill, I'm grabbing my money pen and I'm swiping across the bill to see if it changes colors.
Well, all I'm going to say
Every time
is if we try to print American like notes on a printer, it doesn't allow it.
Correct.
If you do it for any of the other countries, it allows it. And the reason being is if you print them on a regular printer, it's close enough to the real thing, nobody can tell because your money is not real. It's so easy to forge. I felt
Yeah, this is not advice. This is not
No.
advice, by the way.
Have you noticed how Sweden has gone completely cashless, though?
Oh, I love it.
We've not had to use any cash at all.
I love it.
Everything-
Literally
I mean,
just have my watch, that's it.
in Prague, it was the same way.
Right.
I had to ask for Czech crowns because I wanted to take some home. I think it's interesting to have different currencies. And like when I forget the name of the person that did it, that put 500
Crispin.
Crispin put 500 SEK because they had no other way of donating. I doubled it with $100, and then I kept the 50 SEK. So it was 50 from me, 50 from from them, and because I wanted that bill. Otherwise, I have no like physical currency. I think it's kind of cool. Drew's War said, I miss the Maltese lira, 25 cents for a Snicker or a game of pool at the pub.
I think everybody misses the lira.
Is that?
It's because they changed to euros when they joined the EU. They kept the lira for a certain time, and frankly, I miss the Maltese buses.
Oh God, they're not there anymore. They're just regular buses now.
The Maltese
In Malta?
Oh yeah.
You know, like the quintessential Maltese bus, the yellow bus.
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It was like the old Leyland type.
Sir, we don't learn about the history of the world in America.
That has kind of broken me a little bit. Like, I actually don't know how to formulate a sentence about somebody who
If you brought me a world map and told me to point to Malta, I'm likely going to fail. I'm not doing this.
Let me give you a clue. Here's Europe. Here's Africa.
Okay.
There's a little dot right in the middle of the Mediterranean. Malta. That's it. It's teeny. It's the tiniest island in the world. And that's it. Right in the middle.
I'm pretty sure it's the most invaded country in the world.
At this point,
Probably
I think
as
I'm
well.
legally obligated to say it's not about the size, it's about how you use it, right?
Okay. Right. Maltese bus.
That is a cool bus. There's no way the stream sees
Maltese
that.
bus.
Yeah, they can't see it. Just someone Google. Jacob,
Just Google Maltese bus.
you're a
and it'll
mod.
show up.
Put the link in the chat, you dingus. Geography for a Floridian is difficult. It's difficult in my own state because we have areas in our state like Thanona Sassa. Go ahead and spell it.
Is that a word?
Yes,
Not anymore, it isn't.
Thanona Sassa. Yeah.
I want to try, but I'd probably be wrong.
Yeah. Because a lot of it is named after the indigenous tribes of Florida that have all been pushed out of their native land. And so what do? We name the towns after them. So it's literally just rubbing salt in the wound. I'm sorry, ammonium chloride in the wound.
Oh no, it's okay. Lewis, do you remember Lewis from our Malta trip?
You can still see them on the roads, according to Lewis.
Go on, keep going.
So Lewis said you can still see some of them on the roads now.
Really?
The buses are back. The buses are back.
No.
The bus is back in town. The bus is back.
What, are they just kind of using them as tourist type of
I don't know.
buses? Oh, they're phenomenal.
Lewis, you've got to tell me more.
You've got
Seriously.
to try these buses. I mean, they're an adventure ride on their own.
The thing is, you're missing the first thing, which is you have to get to Malta.
Yes.
And I'm a little bit away from.
We have a highway.
a highway.
That it's got 6 lanes.
That's more than most U.S.
Is this the
highways.
new one
It
they
is
built?
the new one. We have overpasses. This should get your American side tingling. We have car parks.
Bear in mind, this is a really tiny island.
Are they
that is
multi-story
like-
car parks?
There is. There's one in Valletta.
No. See, Americans don't like that.
No, there's one.
Don't
there's
ask
an
me why.
actual-
We have
just-
underground car parks.
Well, we not in Florida. We don't have
Oh.
those. No. Underground car parks are called pools, and often cars end up in them because Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, for such a small island to have a 6-lane highway is really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 6 or is it 8?
No,
No,
no.
I think it's 4 and 4.
You're talking about the one that's just outside the hill to
Yeah.
San Paolo.
Yeah,
And Santa Lucia.
I think it's 8.
Just near Marsa.
Yeah.
They were still extending
See,
it when we were there. now.
Because they were working on the
I
roundabout.
don't
An
know.
island
It's
in
a
the
lot.
middle of the Mediterranean just sounds. While it sounds beautiful, it does sound like you're a little isolated.
We're also very well connected.
It's the free hub port for all of Europe.
Hmm.
Because all of the cargo ships have to go to Malta to either refuel or unload and then go to the rest of Europe.
It's got Freeport in Bizerbuja.
In what?
In Bizerbuja.
Gesundheit.
Bursey for short.
I couldn't spell that if I even tried. Jimmy is in the chat. If you all watched the stream where we raised money, Jimmy is the dude. The guy who is just completely
Stone-faced.
just stoic while eating Sustromen, while eating some of this licorice that has enough ammonium chloride in it to start a small car battery. The man truly a giga Chad. It was awesome to meet him. It was really cool to meet you, Jimmy. We end up hanging out for another 4
Many
or
more
5
hours
hours
afterwards.
in the hotel lobby, and we were just chatting. And actually, we ended up bringing out my 360 camera and we set it up because we were just having that good of a chat. We just set up a 360 camera. So if you are part of our Patreon or you're in our Discord, you guys will get access to that video and be able to watch it in full 3D and full 360, I should say, if that is something that you would like. DevMinder says that's the correct usage for Gesundheit. See, now that's a German telling me I did it right. Nice. That's Andres. Said SLS guy here. Have you recovered from the experience? It was fine. Like,
He's been eating normally all
yeah,
day.
I've got an American and specifically Floridian stomach. Okay, you don't get to be my size by being picky. The food, that one, couple of 2 hours of this entire experience was the only time I'm like, this is a little rough. But it was not something I couldn't endure. It was totally worth it. Would do it again in a heartbeat for charity. And I guess I now need to call somebody out for this. Because Hendrik, Mr. electroplating god of 3D printing himself, said he would do this.
Oh?
He said he would do it. He
Okay.
actually wants to try Schustroming. He's in Germany, so we got to get him out here at some point. So we'll figure that out next time we come out. We'll have to get Hendrik out here so we can do it again and raise money for charity.
We've got to get the licorice out as well.
Hendrik is like excited about this. I'm like, are you good, man? Like, do you need to go speak to a doctor? It's free over there as far as I'm concerned.
Did Hendrik actually see the podcast of you trying it?
Yes.
No.
I've got the DMs to prove it.
Also, Jimmy, if you're listening to this, I went out today and I bought the licorice you bought us because I'm going to make my friends suffer. Just straight up. You made me suffer, now I've got to pass it on.
Yeah, we bought more of it. Hendrik said, man, I saw you ate Schustroming. Wow, I really want to try that too. Hope you had fun. Saw the photos of the dinner, was like, I like these folks. So, Kata, if you're watching this, we have another willing participant.
You were going to say victim. I can feel it.
Yeah, he wants to. I was happy to do it to raise money.
The thing is, we've also got to thank Andreas because he bought all those different candy, different sweets.
I definitely don't have another 6 kilograms of candy to take home for people, and that's all Andres' fault.
And Nerwin got the ranger poop.
Oh, Nerwin got the ranger moose poop.
Moose poop.
That was actually.
Why do you keep calling it reindeer?
I don't know. It's because it looks like a reindeer on the
Moose do
picture.
not look like reindeer.
It's moose.
No, those antlers are distinctively moose.
Okay, they're moose.
I'm sorry.
There's a moose loose.
Allison, did you have to clean up after Grant again? I by the time I had cleaned myself up, everything was gone from the table. So I have no idea who did it. I was more focused on trying to get the smell off of me. Because I'm already a little smelly. I'm an American. I'm already a little smelly. I didn't want to make it worse. And at the same time, I was trying, like, I'm over here like a surgeon that's just been sanitized. I'm like holding my hands up, trying not to touch anything as I'm like, more soap, give me more soap. And I'm like,
clean.
Yeah, I'm like, can someone give me a belt sander? I really need to get fully clean.
You know the tongs that you used for doing the... Oh.
God, it just scared the absolute crap out of me. I was told to turn the printer on and clean the bill plate. I didn't know when it was gonna start, and that did just scare the crap out of me.
Me too.
That's Nairman controlling it remotely.
Right.
I do believe we're gonna have the index rolling.
Just when I was explaining that no one was getting us those moose poop and everything else, but you know the tongs that you used for the Schustroming.
Yeah.
Well, I went to clean them, I'm not kidding. I put neat fairy liquid, washing up soap, on it with a brush, scrubbing it 3 times, and I could still smell it.
Yep.
We had to put it in the dishwasher, and I don't know if they had to do another cycle or not, but it was that strong.
Yeah, it was pretty rough, but it was completely worth it. We raised money for charity, and as a lot of you are well aware, I am completely willing to do dumb things to my body to help support charitable causes that we care about. So that was a no-brainer. It was really easy, and it was a bit of a fun thing for us to do. So.
Well, it was for us anyway.
I noticed all of you were inside. It was mostly the non-Swedes that were outside. I found that very interesting because it was the people that have never smelled it before. The other ones are like, ha, idiots, they're outside. I've not even watched the video myself. I've watched the different angles that people have sent me of myself dry heaving from the smell. Mad Cat asked if Amber checked my blood pressure after. No, we don't have a cuff or anything like that. I'm sure Amber has some fancy way to do it without the cuff, but no, we didn't. Dream Sports said I would also like to try this magical fish. No, sir, you don't.
No, you don't.
Sir, you don't.
There's a 3-letter word underneath on the tin, okay, and it's spelled HEL. And afterwards thought, yeah, that's probably because related to the smell. But it actually means whole in Swedish, heel. But it honestly should be renamed with HELL because that is really pongy stuff.
We went for the fillets, the ones that were not with the head and tail still on it. So, you know, we did something. But yeah, Sip of Coffee asks, what are we printing? I have no clue. I was told to turn the printer on and take the little froggy off the build plate, which is I guess it would be a 4-color maximum frog, but, you know, for a prototype, this looks darn good. Still the coolest way to show off a bit of technology. Jacob, if you did want to take a look at one of the whole nozzles are in front of you.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that's all the thing in front of you. MLV says, I need an index for my printer. Yeah, there's a lot of us that have said the same thing.
This is a CHD one as well. It's laser engraved.
I'm not... Well, if we weren't supposed to say that, we said it now. Whoops. Well, we were never specifically told that we could.
Oh, it might have been on Taylor's stream. That might be why it's here. I've not watched his stream yet, so.
No, because you were paying attention to me raising money for charity.
Yes. I was watching you gag, and that is infinitely more fun than any 3D printing live stream.
So I'm told, only grantrants.com. So you guys started Construct 3D after, you know, kind of seeing how everything went with COVID and just kind of seeing what happened, right? And the benefits that were capable from this. Why did you end up pushing so much for the highest of high standards? Like, you know, we always joke in the States that code is a floor, not a ceiling, right? The bare minimum should not be where you stop, it's where you start. You look at it and say, well, the maximum isn't defined, so why don't we find a way to start defining it? Why did you go that route when so many other companies are shipping machines and saying, well, they'll figure out if it's good or not when they get it?
If I was a customer, I don't want to figure that out as I get it and decide to learn on some machine that I've just paid lots of money for.
Fair.
I want to have something that works and does exactly what it says it does. So for us, I don't want people disappointed. I want them to get the good experience. I want them to have an amazing experience learning about 3D printing. Because after all, at the end of the day, there's still a majority of people that have to learn about 3D printing. I've just been on a railroad show for 2 weeks. And within that whole 2 weeks of going to different rail companies, and they're quite large rail companies, these, that you would have expected them to be doing 3D printing already. They're not.
No, we see this pretty much in every industry. So unless you're looking at the auto industry, from my experience, pretty much every other industry is not utilizing 3D printing.
No.
And if they are, they're on the bleeding edge of their industry, and they're on nowhere near the bleeding edge of the 3D printing industry.
I agree. So I know from personal experience through Construct 3D that we have supplied Beaver Rail, for example, They're brilliant. They're using our printers for making all sorts of things, fireboxes and things like this. In fact, you did a show with them, with their robots and everything for Next Gen RI. And I was showing you all the stuff they were 3D printing. Now, they are actually leading the way. Yet the other larger companies are only just starting to think,
Right.
should we 3D print that or not? And where can we use them? I actually reached out to a lot of the companies in the rail sector, and I asked them, what kind of ideas would you have? If you could have anything at all and you could, adopt 3D printing, what would you do? And a lot of it came back with all stuff that you can actually do now.
Okay.
No gauges,
Yeah.
those sort of things, cable brackets and covers and
Little tiny things that are a pain in the butt to keep in inventory, right?
special tooling, that you need for spacer measurements and stuff like this. All those things are all possible now. So why not?
Well, we saw this when we went and toured with Beaver Rail, of how they're, doing pieces that just really don't exist anymore, and they're kind of utilizing the technology as the stopgap until it is fully replaced with something brand new, right? It's someone had to pull the fire extinguisher. Those boxes aren't made anymore. Until we get new trains, we have to just replace it with a like item. 3D printing is the perfect fit for that. Yeah. And that was super cool, by the way, just to see it being used in other industries. And as a service bureau, we, as 3D Musketeers, we get to see a different clientele that use it in different ways. Sometimes it's valuable. Sometimes I myself wonder why people call us. But, that is what it is.
There's quite an education element of it. There's different sectors that are still adopting
Right.
3D printing.
Right.
So for us, I suppose, going right back to those people that are still learning, they are not experts in 3D printing.
No, they're
So
experts
they
in
need
exactly
to-
their job and nothing beyond it. for the
This
most
is
part.
it. So they need to buy a printer for us. We would give them a printer that is premium, high quality, no headaches. That's it. I want them to have a trouble-free printing experience.
Okay. And so that's where Construct 3D came out of.
It kind of came out of the moment we decided that's it. We've got
That CPAP fan's really loud. Can we turn that down?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
Olaf just told me how I can find the IP address.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just
The
sent
IP
me, like, a
address is
network
not
scan.
the same as the one I'm looking at on the back of the machine right now. Because I remember people said, "Oh yeah, the audio got really bad when it came on," and well, you don't use your outside voice very much. Keep going.
Do you want me to use my teacher voice?
I kind of want to hear your teacher voice now.
My teacher voice is not the teacher voice. It's the look. The
That's
look
good.
is
It's
what
good.
does it.
Oh, is it the look?
Oh yes.
I want you to stare directly into the camera and give them that look.
What have they done? It depends.
There's so many things they've done.
Whispering about a topic you've told them not to talk about 6 times in a row.
That look.
I was just zooming in on your face that whole time, because that's what we do here. We
That
have
is
to-
the disappointed look.
the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
I am so disappointed.
Yeah, I get that a lot. So we actually have a great question from Lewis Pace. How did you guys come up with the name Construct 3D?
Okay, that's simple.
Well, it was not simple at
Okay,
all. We spent months figuring out the name. Because the name isn't just the name, it also has to go with a logo.
Yep, it's the whole
So-
brand, right?
Yep.
It is. Do you put a cat on your T-shirt or not? Right? Like that's.
It did go round in circles quite a lot. But when it came to it, it was actually a no-brainer. We should have thought of it at the beginning. But up to that point, we kept every morning, every night, every time we saw each other about something, like, what about this? What about that? How does that
I
sound?
think
And
we
then
were
you
having
kind of
like
have
8 to 10 meetings a day.
Just to think
how does this
the
look? And
name.
obviously each name has a little sketch of possible logos for it to go with.
Yep.
It was a nightmare.
It was really hard. But the simple bit came when it was 2:00 in the morning. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, 3D printing, 3D,
It's working. Don't worry.
3D printing, 3D stuff, spatial awareness, XYZ. Hang on, XYZ coordinates. This is all construction work and mathematics curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's called construction.
Okay.
The whole curriculum part in the UK maths curriculum for GCSE, it's called construction.
Right.
And in an exam, they will say construct this, that, and the other, perpendicular, bisector, or whatever. Okay? And you need to construct it.
Construct 3D. Yeah.
And that's how it came
Yep.
about.
And then it just layers on top of what you do with printers. You build stuff, construct stuff. It's just loads of little things.
It fitted. As soon as I said it, it's like, yes. And then we thought about it. We weren't rushing into it. We just kept mulling it over, and then you think, does it still fit? Does it still ring right? And it did. It just did. So, yeah. That was a good question. Yeah, thank you.
That is a great question, because so many businesses will sit there and, just think about the name, then it's the logo. And I consistently tell people, if you're worried about your business logo and that it won't properly describe your brand and tell people who you are, I want you to look at Apple's first logo. Have I told you this before?
No.
What do you think was Apple's first logo? The multi-trillion-dollar company,
Getting
Apple?
it ready to show her.
Yeah, just turn your screen away.
I'm not clicking the enter
Okay.
button.
I won't look.
Now, what do you think Apple's first logo was?
A whole apple?
Was it a whole apple? I don't know.
Was it a fruit?
There was a fruit in it, yes. It was an apple, yes.
Okay.
Isaac Newton was
know.
in it.
No.
Yes. Yes. Isaac Newton is in Apple Incorporated's first freaking logo. That's it.
No way.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is so
Yeah. If you all honestly think that Apple knew what they were doing when they first started, look at their logo and tell me they knew what they were doing. They didn't. Most companies don't. Hell, most companies will tell you they still don't know what they're doing. They're just figuring out as they go. And so don't stress over. I know it's easy to sit here from a position of, I've got a logo, I've got a name that I'm happy with, and say, oh, it's easy, don't stress over it. And yet I know that I stressed over it for months, if not years as well. So
I think for us, the fun part was to play with the word construct, because you are constructing something, and the 3 being like a reflected version of an E. So it's a constructed item that you're
Right.
making.
So
it
no matter
kind
if you
of
read it right
plays-
or wrong, it still works.
the alliteration is still there of the 3 being an E.
Yep.
Right.
Because then it becomes constructed
Yeah.
instead of construct 3D.
Now, I'm going to get into a bit of a touchy question, because I know it's a bit of a sensitive matter for a lot of people, but it is generally good practice to never start a business with friends or family. So what brought you all to doing this as a family? And it's literally just the 3 of you doing it. So why start as a family business?
Okay, so we all are aware of our own skills.
Yep.
And they're all very different to each other. So we complement each other. So like I've always explained, Jacob's the techie, I'm the non-techie. We got to a point where we were sharing out the work. There was a little bit of overlap on some things where we would discuss, but mostly I trust Jacob with what he's doing,
Right.
and he trusts me with what I'm doing.
Okay.
And it just works. So then we brought my husband into it. And he's brilliant. We just leave him locked away in the factory making printers. And that's it. He loves it. He loves being hands-on making printers.
I mean, if he was replacing head gaskets on car engines, yeah, he's the kind of guy that says, "I'll pass me the wrench, I'll do it myself," right?
Yep.
He might read the manual, but that's only when he's cussed at it 3 or 4 times, said he knows what he's doing, and he'll never admit defeat and read that manual unless it is life or death.
Also, he's like the best test subject, because if you build a machine and like an assembly that you are expecting a user to repair, and it's the first time Dad's looking at it and he goes, "I'm not doing this," it means it's way too complicated. And if he can do it by not following the instructions, it's good enough.
That is why I actually, when I look at like fixing printers on streams, I try to approach it as someone who will do the bare minimum, right? They're not going to look up how to do it. They're going to say, I know better than that. And for the most part, I know what I'm doing. Clearly, I make mistakes. R.I.P. Octopus Board. But clearly, I make mistakes. But I think that those mistakes serve as valuable input for the companies. I mean, we were working with Matter and Form to show the 3 off on our channel, and I asked the owner of Matter and Form, I said, hey, do you want me to do research on this so I'm like an expert, or do you want me to look at this from the actual perspective of a first-time user that has never used your product before? He said, honestly, if you don't mind not doing a dime of research, that'd be awesome. I said, I need to do less work? No problem. You got it. And we found some places where they could have done better in their documentation. And I think that's the most important thing, especially when you look at technology like the index, where it is both incredibly complicated and not complicated at all. Being able to have that average person look at it and say, I got this, is really important. And so you all have pushed this quality since day one.
Yeah.
Right? Can you go through what it's like to go through all of this and still have to be the mom of the family at the same time? Because you're not just wearing the business hat, right? You have to come home and be mom. And look, for those that have never worked with family, you won't understand this, but you never stop working on the business. You go home after work. You know what when's after work? You know when it is, right? It's when you're unconscious and asleep.
Yeah,
you can't work when you're sleeping. And we're all too poor for the booger sugar, so we have to, pretend that we're definitely not exhausted. Definitely not exhausted.
Of course.
So how are you able to manage all of this? You're
Okay,
doing a lot.
We did this.
He does nothing. We all know this.
Of course.
I only sleep all day. I actually don't even build printers. This is a figment of my imagination, and eventually I'm going to see a funky looking like light bulb somewhere that's going to wake me up.
No.
Yeah.
It's really very simple. I try and make certain rules about looking after ourselves, because otherwise you burn out very quickly, and if you're working and it's just non-stop, you have to stop and you have to take a bit of care of yourself. Otherwise everything will just crumble. So you can't do that. You have responsibilities.
Right.
So, like you say, it's a mum thing to do where you're looking after your family, and it'd be like, right, Jacob, we've been working all this time. We need a break. So when do you want to take a little break?
Mm-hmm.
And things like this. So we decided to put things in the diary. We said at the weekend, let's just try have one day off. Okay, the Sunday. Let's just make Sunday a no shop. No talking shops.
So said he comes to talk shop on my podcast. Okay, yeah, I see how it is.
Every time.
Yeah. Now our podcast, obviously.
Every time we've said, let's just try and have the evening off. And we tried it at Christmas, didn't we? At Christmas, Jacob got us is it Catan you call it?
Yeah.
Settlers of Catan. Yeah. Oh, you're so mean to your family.
Hey, it's the starter board game. Like, they've never really played board games other than Monopoly or
But why?
Ludo.
But no. Scrabble. You don't like playing Scrabble.
Catan,
because you win.
Catan is like a multi-month relationship. It is ups and downs, and boy, if you're playing with someone that really knows what they're doing and you're a newbie, you're not going to have a great time because they're going to walk all over you. Did you do this? You have that shit-eating grin right now.
I pulled no punches. She had to learn.
Man.
And who
won?
Me for the first 4 times.
And then who won?
Then you won.
Oh, Mom figured it out eventually.
Yep. I was training them. I wasn't just beating her up for fun. I was beating her up while telling her how to defend herself next time via first-hand experience.
And when they say parents are supposed to model how your children should behave?
Yeah.
That isn't what I modeled, okay? I was kind. I led you through carefully.
Not true.
But no, so this is what happens. So much for Christmas playing Catan. Guess what? Halfway through the board game, we say, have you thought about doing this on the printers? Like, this is how it opens up all over again. Like, no, don't talk shop. We're not supposed to be talking work. But it happens every time.
Yeah, it is one of the more complicated things. And, they say if you start a business with friends, just know you won't be friends by the end of it, because eventually there is a disagreement. And especially if it's like a 50-50 business, right, where you own 50%, the friend owns 50%. If you disagree on something, you are in deadlock. There's nothing you can do. The business ceases to do anything until a decision is made. And certainly when that frustration can leach out beyond the workplace, that can be a little bit rough. But you all seem to handle it really, really well.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we're nearly on our 5th year now.
I'd say we handle it really well, but it's not without its turbulence.
Oh, of course not. Every
Gonna
business has
have
its
that, aren't
turbulence.
you?
I think the trick is just powering through disagreements until you work it out. Like, you can't let things sit. You have to like
You have to
actually
work
talk about
through
it.
it.
You
do need
quickly
to.
learn how to talk.
Yeah,
That's the main
you
thing.
have to communicate differently from when before business. Before business, it was very different. You know, if you've got, I don't know, some kind of disagreement within the family, you still talk about it, but you talk about it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And like, if you're the type of person that likes to just not run away, but like ignore problems because it's not worth that, you can't do that in business.
No, you can't.
And it trains you a lot of, well, previously I would just let that slide, well, this time I can't, whereas I would talk about this, well, this time you shouldn't, because it's not your wheelhouse anymore. So you kind of have this weird upgrade but downgrade at the same time to the relationship, where you have to mentally be cognizant of when and where you are at work mode versus home mode.
Yeah. And that's it's helpful now that you have like an actual facility to work, where you guys build the printers and everything. And we've toured it, and they are both still incredibly happy that it actually has more views than one of our Prusa videos. So that's, I know Jacob's like, ha, nice.
Obviously, the viewers have spoken that our factory is indeed more interesting than Prusa's factory.
No, it just means we have to
it's
keep doing
just-
better and better videos for both of you, and then
That's
it just starts to become a fun little game of who can have more fun.
Yeah.
But
It's very humbling though, because for us, we're new, we're learning. Everybody's new to this world some point or another, whether you're starting 3D printing for the first time or whether you're learning about a new mod or whatever. Everyone's learning all the time, aren't they? And for us, I feel like we've learned an awful lot. Not only starting a business, but also all the pitfalls. And yeah, we've been had by a few companies who said they're going to supply something and it was absolutely naff.
happens all the time.
And it's things like that. So there's a whole learning experience, and we're adjusting all the time as well, about how we communicate with each other, because there'll be things that would have happened where Jacob might say, just let it go and get on, because your time is worth more money in getting on with this than it is to persevere and get that supplier to give you a refund.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. And
No.
it's that kind of
You still struggle with that.
judgment.
Well,
I do.
because
Yeah.
because
I
it's
do.
personal, right? There's a time and place, especially in small business, where when someone scams you or like a client doesn't pay for whatever it is, right? Whether it's a extruder, a nozzle, a part, time, whatever, you feel personally attacked, because what they're doing is they're not only telling you that your time has no value, they're actively stealing food off of your plate to put food on theirs. And it is the toughest thing. Anyone that has ever either worked in a small business or owns a small business knows the most difficult thing in business is separating that emotion from the business. And TB Minnow in the chat says, in my partnership, we solve disputes with rock, paper, scissors, which, honestly isn't a bad way to do it. Right? Well,
Out of 3.
No.
you're moving the goalposts.
It's always
Is
out
that
of
you're not
3.
American? Because we just move goalposts till we win too. Space race, let's go. We weren't the first to put anything in space, so we didn't go for that. We weren't the first to put a person in space, so we didn't go for that. We were the first to put a person on the moon. USA, US. Oh wait, I'm not in America. I don't even know chants for Sweden. This doesn't help. We didn't bring a Swedish flag. That would have been funny to pull out a Swedish flag right here.
We've actually bought probably about a dozen
Yeah, we have a
Swedish
few.
flags.
We have a few.
We just haven't bought any.
You've also
Mistakes.
bought most of the candy shops around here.
They had
That is
plenty of
true.
inventory.
Yes.
The candy shops here go hard in the paint. Like, they got
They do.
everything.
They had their
I
own
would
personal
just-
theme song.
They did. The candy place, like Kandy, right?
Yeah,
Candies.
Candy.
They had their own theme song, which I'm fairly certain is AI made. But they had their own music playing in through. I'm like, it's like, it's a small world after. It's like, I'm going to Disney again. And except it's like, candy, buy candy. I'm like, this is awkward. But no, it is, it is unique, right? And I find myself taking things personally still, and it's why I just say, you know what? It is easier for me to hire out to solve the problem of me feeling personal about something. So I only know when things go right, and when they go wrong, this person deals with it. It's their job to deal with it. But it's easier said than done, right? You have to have income to do that. You have to have the profit to support it. And you have to find the right person. Something that we've learned here at Bondtech, who are sponsoring this show, thank you all very much, is that it's really not about the product. The product is cool, right? It's about the people. Because you can make the coolest product out there, but if you don't have the team to support it, none of it matters, right? We were literally just walking through downtown Vanama, and a vehicle pulls over to the side of the road, puts down their window, and leans over. Now, if it is not a vehicle that I recognize in Florida, I'm turning the other way, because I don't know what they're about to say or do, but I don't want a part of it. And it's one of the staff. It's one of the staff. He's like, hey, how you doing? And we end up going to dinner. It was awesome.
Slavko is amazing.
He is.
And he
And-
taught me all the numbers.
You've actually picked up a more Swedish than I expected for being here for 4 days.
She does this every time.
How many languages do you know? Like, this is why you know so many languages.
A few.
A few. Yeah, way more than I know. I don't even know if I can say that I know one language.
I mean, just today I've heard you speak 4 languages. 3? 4.
I couldn't help that. They didn't speak Swedish.
No.
So you just pulled out the dictionary.
They spoke Arabic.
And you just...
Actually, I thought they were going to speak Italian because it was San Marino. So I thought, okay, they're Italian. So I said, parliamo italiano. And they were like, no, that's the chef. I'm like, oh. And then they started talking together, but they were talking in Arabic. So I said, I can understand you in Arabic. And we go, oh. So then they started talking to us, and then they got really friendly, and then they really kind of...
all of a sudden, they were your best friends. And it was pretty great. If we all could just run our businesses like that, now that would be awesome, right? But then I'd have to learn a lot of languages. And that means I'd have to purge knowledge of 3D printing for language.
No, don't do it. I already purged the knowledge of people's names.
I'm sorry.
Who are you?
I don't know.
Winter.
Figment of your imagination, really.
Yeah,
So,
the numbers were great though, because we went to that museum in is it
Vandalorum.
that's it, Vandalorum.
yeah, Vandalorum.
And Vera and Anna
Mm-hmm.
taught me a few numbers. Then when we met Slavko later, he taught me the rest of the numbers.
Yep.
So I can do 100 ita, that's up to 101 and more. So you can kind of carry on with it.
Look at that.
But yeah, it was really good. They're actually not bad, the numbers. If you think about it, it makes sense. Because it's ita, dvo, tre, fiore, that's the hard one. Fam, number 6 is dead easy, okay? Sex. 7 is who, 8, otta, nia, tia. There you go. And then you kind of repeat
I've
them
already
with...
forgotten the start
all
of
the
that
others.
sentence.
Max H says you're a spy.
I actually agree.
For what? What am I spying on?
Lewis says, that's why the Maltese language is good. Arabic and Italian mixed together.
And more.
Well, that is the benefit of of always, well, you're also a teacher, so you have a thirst for knowledge, and you're always looking at something saying, I want to learn how it works.
Yeah.
So you're like Jacob, but not on the crazy technical side of it. You want to understand why.
I'm very curious. I like being curious. I'm inquisitive. I like to learn. I want to know more. It's like being in Sweden. I want to learn about their culture. I want to learn their language. I want to I want to understand their dialects. I want to understand their root words, and it helps me feel like I'm enjoying myself here, and it's been fantastic. I've really loved being in Sweden. But the same with the printers. I understand how Jacob thinks and works, and I do that with every student I have, by the way.
Right.
I look at them and I'm learning about them to be able to help them learn.
Yeah.
So that's what I tend to do. But when it comes to printers, I do get involved in the technical side a little bit because I want to understand what Jacob's on about half the time. And he comes to me, he has this amazing ability to come to me at the wrong time. He is gifted at it. So
my phone only ever rings when I'm busy.
Well,
only ever rings. I could have nothing on my calendar. The phone will never ring. I'm like half tempted to always put fake meetings in my calendar.
Right.
So I know the phone will ring because it's just destiny.
Well, Jacob has this amazing ability to come to me just as when I'm about to get to bed. So I'm tired.
I mean, it's the best time.
I'm worn out. I've been working
It's when
flat
I can
out.
guarantee you're not working.
So I've been working
Right.
flat out all day.
You're not wrong.
Right? And you come to me at night and in fact, my husband, Jason, he says, don't get into discussion with Jacob. I said, I'm not going to. So I'm almost at the point of, I'm aware that he is going to talk to me. Okay. So I kind of go and do my teeth and everything. He's like, hey, Ma, just come. I said, I can't get into discussions with you, Jacob. I know what happens every single night. So, no, it'll be very, very quick. It'll be very quick. The kind of thing. Anyway, so okay, then. I can't help but listen because he's got this amazing thing he wants to show me. So, of course, that's got my curiosity. You see, that's really difficult because I am curious. So then I go over and there he is showing me, hey, I could do this with the extruder, I could do that and this and the other, and he's showing me on the CAD and everything else. Half an hour later, I am still there. Then I'm supposed
She's asking questions this entire time. It would be quick if I just said my thing and that was it. So you're indulging this.
But that's difficult because if you say something that is interesting, then how am I supposed to just go to bed?
Point proven.
So this is what happens.
The hamsters that run his brain are finally waking up. They've defrosted. Now they're getting ready to start working, and it's sunset at that point. And you're finishing your day. He's just kind of getting his started.
He's going to start when
there
I'm
are
winding
multiple times where it's like 3:00 in the morning for me on the east coast of Florida. Jacob, being 5 hours ahead of me, is still awake.
It's true.
And that means it's 8:00 in the morning for him. He's been working since the day prior, but it's because that's when his brain functions.
Yep.
And that's okay. But you do have to realize at that point, you can't run the business side of it because business does not happen in the middle of the night.
That's why
that's what Mum's
I need sleep.
See, what Mum doesn't realise is at night, she's not there to nag me into doing more work. So I get quiet.
So what you're saying is,
And then I nag you for the entire night.
I say that Mum just needs to tell me what you need to do so I can nag you.
Yes.
I'm your second mother.
Yeah. Oh.
I like the sound of this.
I promise I will ruin it for you. From now on, I'll just reference to you as mother or mommy, depending on what the chat wants me to say.
American, you have to be mom with an O. Because Americans do O.
Yeah, we don't do the U.
We do a U.
Yeah.
In fact, we do mama.
I made sure, like, in the description of all of this, to use mum with the U rather than mom. Because I'm like, well, that's culturally appropriate. So that's what I should do. Like, do it how it is reasonably proper, right?
Actually, personally, I would have put Mamma Mia. Because we're in Sweden.
Oh.
Speaking of being in Sweden, since we all know this is a food podcast that is just slightly, we talk about 3D printing, and I guess we have these really cool machines that do a tool change in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
7.
8 seconds. 8 seconds from completely room temperature to already printing. For reference, by the way, you've had some pretty amazing food. And for those that don't know, you're gluten-free.
I'm
So
gluten-free.
that's right. And that's not like the US gluten-free where they do it because it's trendy. No, you're actually legitimately allergic to gluten. So before you get in the comments saying, "Oh, she's not," no, this is medical. Okay, calm down.
No gluten.
What is your favorite food so far? What have you enjoyed the most?
Well, they made me special Swedish meatballs.
Yeah, at the hotel.
Yep. And then
Again, she has just the way to befriend anybody, like to the point where we brought leftovers back from Pizzeria San Marino. She's like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll put it in the fridge." I'm like, "There aren't fridges in the room." She's like, "No, I got this." I'm like, "What?" And we walk into the dining area, and she just goes up to this guy, saying, "Hey, we have some leftovers. Can we put them in the fridge?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "What? How is that possible?"
We literally have leftovers in the hotel.
In the hotel commercial fridge.
Oh, just
they've been so kind. Look, they offered to help in any way, so why not ask them? And they just said yes.
The chat is saying, "Mommy, I just want you to understand this, and
Good,
you're
Mom.
doing this to yourself."
it's you that I'm gonna make it awkward to. You think this is awkward to me? No.
Buddy, I'm from Florida. This really doesn't bother me. But we need to know what. So is it the meatballs then? The gluten-free meatballs?
The gluten-free meals were a really lovely touch because at breakfast there weren't that many things that were gluten-free. So they actually made me really nice gluten-free bread. Now, gluten-free bread is something to judge a whole country by.
It's generally terrible.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I make my own at home. But,
It's like eating a brick.
It's
I mean,
it can be
the
pretty
joke
naff.
we used to have before Mum started making her own bread was if you left gluten-free bread out for more than like 4 hours, it did turn into a breeze block.
So I could build a house with it. Noted.
I mean,
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that time the very first like few times Dad tried making gluten-free bread? He had this like big mixer bowl and he was stirring it, put it down, came back, started to go stirring it, and the entire thing had set into such a big brick of just
looks like cement.
I can't even call it starch. It is like closer
Cement.
to a cement. That he couldn't retract the spoon and had to throw the bowl, the spoon,
no.
and the entire thing out because it literally just solidified from liquid to solid in like 5 minutes.
It's okay. He's never done it again.
I mean, that's fair. That's the one and done.
But
kind
no,
of thing.
honestly, you can judge a whole country by what they offer you as gluten-free bread. And they gave me these beautiful,
Yeah.
I was going to say cobblers. Is that something you understand in America? Okay, it's like a rounded bap.
I don't know what that is either.
A roll?
A roll. Great.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. So it's like a rounded roll and it was all seeded and everything. It was really lovely, delicious.
Okay.
So it was nice to have nice bread. And then they made me special muffins.
Not special muffins, just gluten-free muffins.
Does that mean something else?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my word.
There's been multiple occasions where Mum says something innocent and it is not innocent.
Yeah. It's been kind of funny, actually.
It's been really fun.
Yeah, you two keep laughing at things and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because we're immature.
Okay.
And we grew up on
So,
the internet.
Lemon muffins.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when we ate out, it was dead easy for me to get a pizza with gluten-free base.
The two
And
pizza
then
places we've gone to have
Yeah.
had phenomenal gluten-free pizza, which is not common at all.
No.
Normally, gluten-free pizza, you might as well just eat the cardboard.
I can honestly tell you, I genuinely enjoyed everything about the food
Yeah.
this whole trip. Even Bondtech were amazing looking after my diet. It was just brilliant. I haven't been ill once. Touch wood, I won't be because everyone's looked after my gluten-free food brilliantly. So I actually brought with me some I don't know if people know, Deliciously Ella they're called is the brand. They
Okay.
do gluten-free like cereal bars and things, high protein, high energy thing. And I brought them with me in case I did not get any food here. Because you just don't know. I've
Yeah, you
never
don't
been
know.
to Sweden and you have to be prepared. So I
Yep.
brought them. I haven't touched them. I've eaten so much here. Good food. It's just been brilliant. I probably need to go on a diet after I get back, but that's a different matter. But I've absolutely enjoyed it. They've
Wait,
been
so
brilliant.
how many kilometers have we done today?
I've lost count. I don't know.
AKA about half a mile.
Let me find
We have
out.
walked everywhere.
Yeah, so Vanama is a pretty large area, but in between where we are and the main city is 45 minutes of walking. Really, it's rucking through the woods. Like the trails are dirt and gravel. There's lights on them, so they're very clearly purposeful trails.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And it is some of the most beautiful scenery that I've ever seen that isn't mountainous. I love mountain scenery, but it was so beautiful. We ended up pulling out my 360 camera again so that we could also relive it, so we could go back to the footage and see what we missed, because
It was honestly beautiful.
all around you, yeah,
The
like
scenery is
there's
gorgeous.
a lake here in Vanama which has a beach. Now, I'm from Florida, okay? While I'm very obviously not much of a beach connoisseur, I know what beaches should look like, okay? And other than the water was full of tannins, so it was brown water, which is fine. It was clean water. It was just tea, basically. That was some of the nicest sand texturally that I've seen in a long time. Certainly better than the beaches that we have in Florida. And this is not salt water. It's fresh water.
I think a beautiful thing about it was we were walking through this nature, just nature everywhere. Birds tweeting, fir trees, pine trees,
Yeah.
so many different silver birches, oaks. There's just so many different trees. And then you come into this clearing and it's just this beautiful beach all the way around. And they were very well prepared with those wooden, like, bent benches or whatever they were. I don't know what you
they're
call
like
them.
I think they were just
Wooden
like,
lounge chairs,
Yeah.
basically, but they fit like three
whole
or four
family.
people. They fit like 2 Americans or 3 to 4 normal people wide. And they were like legitimately comfortable. And
Yeah.
something that we've noticed the entire time that we're here is it is really clean here. Like I'm used to seeing a lot of trash and waste, and like when you go to the beach, there's crap everywhere because people are not respectful. And while we did see, the odd Capri Sun packet, it's not like a metal container like it is in the States. You all
what?
know what Capri Suns are in the States. It is like a metal mylar, right? So it like tinfoil kind of,
Okay.
right? It's not a
Wait.
plastic pouch.
I don't know. We've only ever seen plastic pouch.
No, it's never been a plastic pouch.
Huh.
It's plastic lined on the inside because metal. But yeah, not plastic.
Y'all are weird.
It actually used to be clear on one side, so you could see the product inside of it. But I don't think people actually like the way the Capri Sun looks because it's not very pretty. But like when we went down to the beach, there were people that were just cooking. There's dedicated places to make fires for cooking, for warmth, for whatever, and it was super cool. Now, personally, my favorite was at Chaplin's Pizza,
Yeah.
and that is Charlie Chaplin. The entire restaurant is themed after Charlie Chaplin, and there are a lot of Charlie Chaplin models and figurines
Well, you
all
got
over the
jump
place.
scared by
I
one.
got jump scared. I was looking up and said, "Wow, Charlie Chaplin! What?" It was a thing. But they had a shrimp and mussel pizza. And while I am an adventurous eater, that is never something I would order. Well, Slavko was telling us that the owners won an award for this nationally in Europe, I guess internationally in Europe, for the entirety of the EU for this particular pizza. And it was ranked #1 in the EU about 5 years ago. And I said, F it, that's what I'm having. And damn, if it was not a great pizza, I see why
was
it won.
Amazing. So I shared a couple of slices. So I got number.
You got one with mincemeat.
17,
You got
which is like
Santa Lucia.
mincemeat.
Sure.
That was the winning one.
It was
Santa
damn
Lucia.
good.
It was amazing. I got one that had like super tenderized mincemeat
It
on
was-
the top.
Yeah, and Amber got one
And it
with
was
anchovies on it.
delicious. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Amber's
Amber's
was
got
really
the
nice.
Siciliana.
Yeah, and
I got d'amore.
so what
Honestly, these have been some of the best pizzas I've ever had. They were delicious.
As they were.
I'm really sorry, New York, but Sweden wins. Flame, yell at me at the comments. I don't care. I'm sorry, New York. Your pizza ain't got anything on Pizzeria Chaplin here in Värnamo in Sweden. Y'all better step your game up. That's all I'm saying. We need Dave Portnoy to rate that pizza.
Honestly, best pizza I've ever had. It was delicious. I now understand why it won
Oh yeah.
that award.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
When I eat like shrimp and mussels, I expect it to have a bit of a fishy aftertaste. None.
It was
Nothing.
almost like a garlic aftertaste.
It was
like
so
none
good.
of the other flavor profile, and it was just beautifully matched. This is why we say it's a food podcast.
Yeah, it's a food podcast.
I did wonder.
we were literally contemplating like setting up a camera because we were just telling stories over dinner. Like we every time we get together, what we should do is do a podcast, but we're eating. But then we decided we don't want like the mouth noise to go through. It would be very funny and kind of fulfill that manifest destiny of this show.
Oh, but yeah, God, it was
The food has been amazing. The food that we've had at Bondtech was great. The Rose Garden here.
Oh.
It's not an actual Rose Garden. It's a restaurant.
I have never been to a place where I can have so many choices that are gluten free. There are so many choices, and
Yep.
I said I'll just have a small lunch. Forget it. By the time he said, I had crispy chicken. I have never had crispy chicken. You know, the proper way, the Chinese style crispy chicken. I've never had it because it's always with the wrong batter. Obviously, gluten free has to be done in a specific way.
Yep.
And they have it done separately and everything. It's brilliant. So I ended up having a bit of everything in the end. So much for a small lunch. I had this huge lunch full of different sweet sours and all sorts.
And
Delicious.
we obviously we got our Swedish meatballs hilariously at the hotel. At the hotel breakfast, as an American, they just had baskets of eggs. I'm like, this is retirement. I'm looking at my retirement right here. This is I don't understand the amount of wealth that is sitting in front of me. And we were walking around the city today. We went into a Lidl and a Coop, which might be Co-op. I'm actually not certain. We went into Coop to get the bags that they have. They've got these IKEA-style bags that fold up into a little pouch, but they have leaves on them and they're very pretty. So we went to go get some. And I looked at the egg prices. 24 eggs for $5 US. $2.50 a dozen.
How much do you pay in America?
Right now at Aldi's, which is like the more affordable grocery store in our area, was $4.50 a dozen.
so
And that's
double.
going down. That is not the height. The height was around 7.
So double to triple.
It's Scotty Almondroy said, have you seen the taxes? No, I haven't, because everything is just included. I don't have to deal with it. And I don't have to calculate what the tax is going to be. It's always a round, even number. It's really nice. 93D said, gotta be honest, my walk in Florida was pretty great too. I almost stepped on a rock with teeth, which was pretty cool. I'm not certain if you're like talking about like a sea urchin or it was actually had teeth in it. And then we just don't ask questions. But Florida is a little odd. Trader Joe, wait, Mad Cat's Trader Joe's had a dozen for just over $3. Mad Cat lives in California.
Huh.
Maybe egg prices have gone down quite a bit. Anyways, I just
wouldn't know.
thought that was funny. My American mind could not comprehend the wealth that I was looking at.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that. Like, being European supremacy, eggs are just regular priced.
Goroka, hopefully I got that right.
You just missed it when I said European supremacy. Mum was just there like, what the hell are you saying?
Well, you're not part of Europe anymore.
I can believe I am.
We're
I'm
still
Maltese.
part of Europe.
Where's your
No, no,
Maltese
no.
passport?
I've got an email saying I'm a Maltese citizen. I just have to go to London of all places.
Oh, an
to get
email.
my
Like none of
Maltese
us can
passport.
fake emails.
Okay, this is now a side tangent story. I was in Malta.
We're known for this.
I went to the passport office in Malta to get my passport. I dragged Mum with me. I have
I
everything.
drove. What do you
I
mean
have
you dragged me?
birth certificate. I have mum's birth certificate. I have my grandparents' birth certificates. I have the family tree and the email from the Maltese embassy. And it was a really long email. It took way too long to get to, are you or are you not a citizen? That says you are a Maltese citizen. Brilliant.
So
Next
can you
step.
just forward me that email
Next step, it did say,
so I have it too?
just go to the
like
Maltese
the Maltese citizen.
passport office to claim your passport
Yeah.
In Malta.
in Malta.
Yeah.
So
Mild inconvenience.
I went to Malta.
We went to Marsa, where they have a government registry office.
Okay.
He kept sending us to different floors,
Yeah,
didn't he?
it was first
we
on
went
floor
to the
one,
different
then
floors.
3, then 4,
Each
then
one
2.
sending us back down to the other one or whatever.
This is
There's
American
a
level
lot of
bureaucracy. I'm here for
bureaucracy.
it.
Oh, it's terrible. And in the end, to cut a long story short, after us wasting all
It was
that
hours.
time, they said, no, you have to go back to England, right?
So you're not a European.
No,
No,
it gets
no,
even better.
no,
I have to
no,
go
no,
back
no.
to England
He has to go back to
to
England
go to the Maltese embassy in England.
to then get it done. So all that, and we've got emails to show that he's supposed to go to Marsa and everything, but forget it. They just don't know what they're doing half the
Maltese
time.
bureaucracy never change.
Yeah.
Just bureaucracy
But
everywhere.
on a serious note, with the geography, Britain is still part of Europe. We're just not part of the EU.
But that's the part that matters.
Yes, I know, but you don't. Look, Brexit was the stupidest decision our country has ever done.
Not according
And
to 60% of your country.
And the nice thing
That's
is,
they didn't know what they were doing.
Look, people say that about my country right now too, so that's all I'm saying.
I get to say Brexit was stupid because I get the European side of me listening to the other Europeans going, yeah, Brexit was stupid. So I get to be on that camp.
Allison Ford says we are European, but not in the EU. Just because you have artifacts that you legally obtained from other European countries does not, in fact.
Look, if they didn't want us to legally obtain their national artifacts, why did they sign documents allowing us to take them?
I have a feeling those documents were signed under duress.
We wrote the laws about duress, so we assume there's none.
Ah, yes, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong.
Yes, we took you to our courts to sign our documents to allow us to take your stuff, and because we did it, there was nothing wrong.
You sure you don't work in American politics?
Had to start somewhere.
Hi, Kat. Come say hi. Come say hi.
Say hi.
This is the
No, keep going.
amazing-
A little more, a little more.
Oh,
Careful.
hi. No, a bit more, I think.
No,
Come
no, no,
on.
there you go, there you go.
Is she in here?
Yay!
Kata is the amazing event organizer for Bondtech. She's marketing out you, so you're amazing. That's
She
brilliant.
made this all.
This is Sunday, by the way. But Slavko was supposed to let us in. Then Nairman was going to come by and hang out for a bit. We're seeing all these other Bondtech staff come by. It's just, this shows you how much they care. They're just like in the area hanging out, you know. Just come on by. Why not? It is such a different experience, right? Like I'm used to the capitalism in America where it's like money, money, money must be funny. In a rich man's world.
Bursting to say, I really want my ABBA songs.
Well, we can't go more than 7 seconds, otherwise you get demonetized.
Money, money, money.
Apparently, Amber said they're having a small party in the other room. Hey, I think there's Surströmming in the fridge if you want some.
Oh, actually, I think there is.
We only opened one can.
Yeah, there's a can. I think there is an entire can.
I assume it was quickly yeeted into the trash 10 miles away. I'm sorry, 20 kilometers away. There has been an ongoing joke that every time we say something in SAE
Sweden
or
units.
metric, we also say the other one because it's just hilarious. Davaki says someone needs to babysit you guys.
We've got a mum right here.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we have an actual mother here
And it's time.
who is directly responsible, for the most part, for him.
Now you need to question, why am I like this? Is it trained or is it natural?
No,
It
it's
was
learned.
not
No,
modeled,
it's
and it was
learned.
not learned unless I blame it on my husband.
No,
okay?
you blame it on the internet or the alcohol.
What alcohol?
That's a song from the US. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were on about him with his isopropyl alcohol. Everything is isopropyl alcohol, isn't it, Jacob?
Isopropyl alcohol, it's super
tastes
delicious.
funny.
Fix a lot of his
No, I
problems.
don't mean drinking it. I mean, everything is like,
Don't
we need to
drink
clean
ISO.
that.
Look, if
ISO.
you've not
I need
used
the
enough
ISO.
then you've definitely not drunk any. So,
Jeez. Well, so back to subject, because I guess we have to ask some questions about being a mom. What was the thing about becoming a mother that you weren't expecting, but you've now really enjoyed?
Oh, enjoy. That's tough.
Yeah, see, it's like,
I was going to tell the things that I didn't enjoy.
you could do that
But
too, I
now-
guess. It's fine.
The things I enjoyed. Okay, things that, well, it was very, very tricky with Jacob in particular because
it always is.
it's, he didn't kind of conform to the normal standard deviation curve on anything. He was a bit of
You don't say.
an outlier. There's this anomaly, and that was him. So yeah, it was tricky with schooling. The teachers didn't understand him. They didn't know how to get the best out of him. They just didn't get him.
Right.
So it's very tricky. And that led to a lot of moments where I had to feel like I need to be the protective mother.
Gotta be Mama Bear.
Oh my word, yes. Lioness, cubs. It's in there. You can't help it. I had to do this. So there are quite a few times when I've had to go in and interpret Jacob's behaviors, thoughts, whatever, to the teachers to understand why he was doing something.
Right.
So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Okay. So there was one
I'm
time.
fearful for my life right now.
Yeah, but this is the part of Mother's and Father's Day when we have our parents on the streams. It's their show. They get to do whatever they want.
Can't
While
be
I
like,
can
no,
shut
don't
the
say
show
that.
down, that would only make it worse on us. Okay, I can click the button. It's
Remember,
right there. It's,
I'm doing this for you.
No, you're not.
This
You're
pain
not.
is for
I'm
you.
doing it for them.
see, remember how nervous you were when you first started?
That's true.
Yeah, you ain't nervous at
That's
all.
true.
Now
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like
having like a mini panic
Not
attack
now.
before coming on.
I'm giving you a shovel because you're digging up dirt.
It feels really powerful right now. It might go to my head.
You got over 100 people watching right now. Let's see how many likes we have.
Don't make me nervous.
47 likes. It's gonna be better.
Don't make me nervous. Okay, so there was a time when Jacob was in primary school. He's still quite young, about 6 years old, something like that. And the teachers used to do this really rude thing at the end of the day where they kind of like, wow, they summon you as
Oh
a
my God.
parent.
Grant did that earlier to me, and I literally thought of this story.
No.
Yeah, it was just like, come over, I've got to show you something.
It was in the candy store. I was
It was in the
motioning
candy
for,
store, but it was like, come over here. I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble again.
I bet you didn't have the face the teachers used to use. Honestly, it was like this, I'm consulting you, get over here sort of attitude. Anyway, so I thought, okay, I went over. So is everything okay? And the teacher would say something like, your son, it's always this sort of attitude, the way they talk to you. It's as if like, wow, what's happened? Your son keeps chucking his lunchbox right across the room. And I'm like, oh? I'm like, what are you supposed to say to that? And I said, so did you handle it? And they said, well, you need to tell him to stop it. I said, did you tell him to stop that or ask him why or, what was going on at the time? Did you check what was happening?
Yeah.
There must be a reason. They didn't understand that there had to be a reason. They just thought he did it on purpose. On purpose.
That makes sense.
So-
Total sense.
That night, I prepped my husband and I said, right, we're going to talk about this when we're having dinner. So Jacob sat there and my daughter was there and my husband opposite me and we're eating food. And I brought up the subject, said, the funniest thing happened today at my school. So I was teaching as well in a different school. So I said, it's a weird thing, this boy, lovely boy, decided to chuck his lunchbox right across the room. I didn't get it. I just didn't understand it. Straight away, Jacob piped up. And he said, I bet it stinks. Okay? So it
Wasn't
turns...
shoestroming, was it?
It was worse. It was Dad's cooking.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
that's mean.
He's not even here to
He's
defend
gotten
himself.
very good recently.
He's not
Oh
only
dear,
recently.
that is so
He's
mean.
not even here to defend himself. That's not fair.
That isn't fair. No, so he didn't like the smell of the plastic, of the, like these insulated lunch boxes.
Yeah. They got a smelly smell that smells smelly.
This is
Yeah.
it. And he didn't like it. So because he was also hypersensitive, he would like just get it away from me. And the best thing he can do is throw it away.
It's like, oh, yeet!
Quite
Throws it across the
literally.
room.
He would just... So I changed the lunchbox. Straight away that night, we went to get to the shop, but new lunchbox, and he was fine.
It's funny
Never
now
did
how
it
you
again.
love the smell of plastic.
I love the smell of plastic.
That's a bit of a 180 as you've gotten older. So, what type of advice would you have for new parents out there? So that they already have kids, maybe they're, a couple of weeks to a couple of months old. What advice would you have for new parents out there that might be struggling a little bit and wondering if they're doing it right?
Nobody ever knows how to do it. That's number one. There is no rule book. There is no way of saying you got to bring up your child this, that, and the other way. It's just you have to follow your instinct and you do the best you can, and that's all you can ever do. If I had to roll back the time and do things differently, I'd love to, because I've learned so much.
Hindsight
But you
is
can't
really
do it.
useful.
You can't do it. And that goes for everything. With whatever you do first time, you can't roll back the time. You just learn from it and do better next time, and so on. So as the years go by, you do get better at it, but they throw different challenges as they get older. So they start having, their teenage moments and attitudes and that. You have to keep learning and be ahead of the game. But also, I suppose you have to, best advice ever, enjoy every day. Because before you know it, they get to this age and it's like from baby to this, it just goes by too quick and you've not got that time again. You've just got to look forward to every day and enjoy every day from now on.
You never know where life takes you. You might find out that you're going to Sweden in 5 days and say, well, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, we did do that, didn't we?
That's exactly what we did.
That was just a few days ago.
That was literally a week ago, basically.
It was like, Jacob, we need to pack. Oh yeah, we're leaving now.
Yeah, normally when you book, you've got time to figure it out in your head and mentally prepare yourself. I'm going to be leaving on this day. Well, before I could even mentally prepare, it was just, we're leaving now.
But this is one of those opportunities that you don't turn down. I mean, look at this thing. It's been chooching along. It's happy. Actually, the frog looks great. It is the exact same frog you see here because the G code is on there and it works. And yes, so we can clearly, the CPAP is way overpowered than what it needs to be. We have now figured that out. Don't turn it back up.
No, I'm
It's
not.
so loud.
I'm going to tell you, we're running at 35%, and I think we could probably lower another 30.
Yeah, 35% is actually quite usable on this.
You know what? It is actually making me think, however, again, we're going on a tangent. The Tangent podcast is tangent.
It's what we do. And we do it really well.
I'm legitimately starting to think if just people running CPAPs just don't ever need to go above 50%.
Well, if
'Cause
you
that's
want
a
to run
lot of
crazy,
high pressure.
if you want to run crazy high speed, you do, right? But you're able to have a duct that's this big rather than a much smaller duct. But it is just it's incredible to see this thing.
So fun. Can I have one?
Oh, God.
Soon TM. So it kind of has a video of my first kind of reaction to this. And someone's like, wow, it's really tiny. And I say, it's not about the size. It's about how you use it. And right as I'm saying that, she's zooming in on me.
It
Now,
is comedic timing.
I'm not certain if that timing was deliberate. Maybe that was done in editing. But it is hilarious. And this is quite literally the definition of it's not about the size, it's how you use it.
Yep.
They've packed a lot into a tiny package and have made it so valuable. Would you have imagined when you first started Construct 3D that this technology would be available within 5 years of your company opening?
It's amazing.
I've been in this industry since 2008. I never envisioned that this technology would get mature enough that it could be running in front of me with minimal to no issues at all on what is a dev machine that was on an airplane only a few weeks ago going to and from Detroit for TCT Rapid. I might want to steal this and run. Jacob, can you just carry my camera bag and just, they know where I live.
I'm going to take the camera bag if he takes that.
He wants
I want the camera.
You
Actually,
do?
no, I want the bag. Your bag is amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
This is where I say behave. Got it?
Yes.
We're gonna behave. Yes, Mom. We're gonna behave. Goroko says, can we point a mic at it? It's a standard CPAP. It's as loud as a regular CPAP.
It's loud.
If you have the CPAP off, this is as quiet as any V0 because it's a V0. You don't hear anything. There might be some quail whine or something, but the CPAP is overpowering everything on it. Like, when you saw this for the first time, did you realize why Jacob gets so excited over technology?
Forget him. I was excited about the technology.
But like, it did it click for you as to like how he feels every single time something new happens or something different occurs?
I think because I've lived through the pains of R&D with him, yeah, I fully get how amazing it is.
Yeah.
It's just like when he's in R&D, because he's fully R&D all the time, you know, he's just constantly inventing things and stuff. And we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a constant running commentary. More because I also need to keep track of everything he's doing because, you know, in England we have things like R&D tax relief and things like this. So
Tell me about that. That's really awesome. Your government cares about that stuff.
It's technically a super tax relief.
Yeah, we don't get any of that. I just pay more in taxes because our company doesn't make millions of dollars.
Yeah, you get more money back than the money you spend if you do R&D. Was it like 120% or 103%?
it's not quite that easy. It's the way it works out.
See, your understanding
There's
is just the
many-
basis. Her understanding is I had to do
she
like
actually
600
does
pages
this?
of paperwork to do
Yes.
this. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that involved. But because I get involved with the R&D side and I get all the supplies that he's after, in particular, you know, he's very particular about the parts he needs and that. So I get those supplies in, I get involved and I know where they're going, what they're doing and all this. So when I come to do, you know, to see new innovation like this, it's just lovely. It's just really good.
And so you got to experience this from a content creation perspective where, you know, you were behind the camera watching as we were doing everything. And did you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
How can you not just feel like the 2 days when it was there? So there was Thursday, which was more for like, you know, people in the industry, more of a private, smaller event. And then Friday was the public event for everybody. The energy was, you know, I said energy, so I was going to say electric, but of course it's electric. It's energy. There was no real easy way to describe it. It was, everybody was uniquely excited about this.
Do you know what I saw? Perhaps a different perception to what you guys saw. You saw, wow, look at the innovation. Look at this,
Machine
that, and the other.
things.
Exactly. I saw maybe something different. As much as I can see what it's doing and everything else, I saw the people behind it that were so proud of what they've achieved.
Oh, the smiles on their faces.
And if I had to say, you know, with Martin Bondeos and his family, Gustav, Jonathan, Kata, you know, Cecilia, they're all involved. All the people, the team, Slavko, Lena, they're all involved in this. And this, to me, shows that it's amazing what teamwork can do. It's just lovely.
Do we have to say the crappy phrase about teamwork? Teamwork makes the dream work.
Oh.
Ah!
Do you know, for a moment there, I thought he was going to come out with another ABBA song, but I just couldn't think of anything with teamwork.
No.
This is on a different thing.
I only know a couple because Amber blasts it in the house, which I have no problem with. To be clear, that is not a criticism. But I only know a couple of them. Quite frankly, I don't often recognize ABBA. I have a few ABBA albums, personally.
Okay.
I don't listen to music much.
You know what I
anymore.
wanna
I'm too
say?
busy. What?
Knowing me, knowing you.
Okay, that's all we can say until the algorithm catches up. That's it.
We can go. So I've always wondered if you're a crappy singer, will that content matching algorithm actually work? And I have no clue.
Let's not try it.
Well, I am a crappy singer, so it doesn't work. And I normally modify songs to be about the cat. All right.
Now, that is something I did when Jacob was a baby.
You modified songs for a cat?
I modified songs for you. Because Jacob, when he was born, I mean, it's a very common problem with babies that they sometimes do projectile vomiting, okay? So not to put anyone off, if you do have a baby that's doing projectile vomiting, they might be allergic to milk or something like this. But anyway, when I had Jacob, they tried various things. And the first thing they do is they give you Gaviscon, okay, for babies. So I had to put Gaviscon in the milk, in the bottle, and he had to drink this bottle with the Gaviscon in it. Well, I need to distract him. So I made up the song that would be to the tune of Robin Hood, Robin Hood. You know that one? And it will go something like, are we allowed to sing?
Go for it. No, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, embarrass the hell out of him.
It's only me that's in pain.
As long as it's, I need it like 40 seconds or under, because that's normally the amount that we clip for a YouTube short, so we can embarrass the ever-loving crap out of him. Because that's really all that I want.
Okay. So I try and remember all the words, because obviously he's now a lot older than when back then. So it was something like, Gaviscon, Gaviscon, makes your feet all thick. Gaviscon, Gaviscon, stops you being sick. Should you have it? Look how yummy it is. Course you should, course you should, course you should. And he would drink it. He would drink it to the song.
See, and you know, when you're going that length, I mean, that is showing that you care, right?
Yes.
And that's showing that showing that you care doesn't always have to be in a particular way, right? Going that extra mile to make anything more comfortable for someone proves that you care, right? And you know, so, it is stressful, right? We often will see new parents and they're like, we don't know what we're doing. It just feels like everything is wrong. We're not doing it right. And my dad said, if it feels like you're doing it wrong, you're probably doing it right. Don't worry about it. You know? And my dad's like, yeah, children are surprisingly quite versatile. They're resilient. They handle themselves fine. And my dad said, you normally have to find someone. If you or your partner are not the right people to help put them to sleep, you have to find someone boring enough to do it. He said, I am that guy. For some reason, you give me a baby, 30 seconds, they're out. Yeah, do what you can, not what must. That's what relies. I guess that's do what you can, not what you must. I don't know. Of course you should. Course you should. Course you should.
Yes.
That's lovely. Garoka said, I saw a lot of happy engineers who were excited about showing off the really cool thing they had designed. Yeah. That's really what it was. Do what you can, not what you must. Fair. Yeah, because doing everything perfect is going to be impossible. You're going to make mistakes. Like, you'll make mistakes in business. You will make mistakes. If you succeed the first time in your business, you got lucky. You got really lucky. If you fail and you have to go back to working in the workforce, or you have to start a different business, you're a statistic. This is normal. This is expected. You guys are doing good.
It's good to know.
I think you're doing good.
Do you know what really, really helps with that? Anxiety.
Yeah, that is true.
It's true. It's true. If you don't handle anxiety, business ownership is not in your future. Don't do that unless you really know how to handle anxiety.
I think for me, it's about when we first started, I kept worrying about everything. We need to get this right. We need to get that. And I am a bit of a perfectionist too. Jacob gets that from me, I suppose. We both have really high attention to detail. And so, but there was a lot of anxiety that I was trying to get used to, because giving up full-time work where you got a salary,
it's stressful.
It is.
You're like, well, this is the amount of money that I have left to burn. This is what we call a burn rate. And every single time you want to do something different, that burn rate goes up. And that means your runway that you have left goes down.
Yep.
And so how do we just inject nitrous into this plane to get it to take off? It's not easy.
It is
like
really
we were
tough.
so unsure of ourselves, not because we didn't trust what we knew. It's because you never know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in this industry, there's no way to know what you don't know, like science. Like science is, you look at the thing, there's a gap in your knowledge, you can see the gap.
Yeah, you
because
know
it's-
there's a
it's
gap.
missing.
Yeah.
But in business, it's just, do you know something? Well, no, until you've learnt it, you do not know there is a link or something you're missing. Like, how many just like startup meeting things? There's like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
I can't, what are they called?
Accelerators.
They're really
Accelerators.
not all that useful, not in
Oh
my
my
experience.
word.
Well, we should have known that after
They're
the
for
first
like
one.
the tech bros, right? They're for like the SaaS models.
They're even worse.
No,
Oh,
no,
no,
they're
it's
actually, from my opinion, because I had to sit through all of these accelerators, they dangle a carrot to say that you might get some money at the end of it. So I'm like, I'm following
and that
this
wasn't even the
trail.
money.
I'll
It-
do everything.
It was the
Well,
you might learn something about how to run a business when you haven't run it before. That's really important because it's coming from people who have done this,
Yeah.
and their entire job is distilling it into a teachable format.
Yeah.
You fell victim to the, I started a successful business selling classes, so I'm going to teach you how to build a successful business.
Unfortunately,
because
that's where it
clearly I
ended up.
know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
the thing that makes it even harder is they're all free. There's no actual like negative to most of these,
It's time.
except time.
It's always time.
So we
it's the
went-
most valuable asset in this world is time.
We went to the first one, and it was pretty basic. It's like, literally, I shit you not. Don't cook your books for your tax. Incorporate as a company. Don't swear at people when you shouldn't be. Like, really basic
really-
things.
Common knowledge stuff,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And then there was like one nugget of kind of important information, like if you're doing research, you can get this, and they would move on, and that was enough of a nugget to go, it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was also enough of a nugget to go, well, if we got that nugget from this one, what if we did a second from a different group, a different like collective, or a third, or a fourth?
And eventually those nuggets get less and less useful
Oh,
because
yeah.
you recognize that, wait a minute, this is the same thing regurgitated
Yeah.
over and over and over again with different garnish, if you
Yep.
will. And that's the same thing with parenting classes. So if there are people out there that are looking to start a family, what is the single best or the best pieces of advice that you could give to a couple that is looking to start a family?
Don't do it.
Wow,
Unless
am I really that bad?
unless you have a lot of patience. And be prepared to go for an adventure ride. That's all I can say.
That was worse
because
than what I was going to say.
Raising
It
kids is a
is
lot like
like-
having a business, except they literally depend on you to survive.
well, because you don't know what's coming. You don't know.
Hurt.
I
Oh,
feel
give
like my
over.
parents have both said the same thing. To
It
be
is
clear.
true.
You know what she said when I got to 18?
What?
Oh, it's too late to give them away now.
That was joking.
I mean, my dad's always said he's got the
Oh,
heir
my
and the
word.
spare. Okay, right? And my dad's got all the funny jokes of when people say, "Oh, are they twins?" No, we left the ugly one at home. They're triplets.
Oh.
It's like, of course they're. Look at them. Of course they're twins.
You gotta have fun. You gotta enjoy the whole experience. Be prepared to be protective because you know when you're not going to get a choice. Once you have a child, that is going to be part of your instinct, no matter what. I was quite prepared to go all the way with Jacob's
You've run a few rounds, for
education
sure.
side of it because that was my biggest bugbear, and that's the reason why I became a teacher, by the way, because of Jacob. Because I felt that he wasn't being treated in the way that I would have expected. Maybe I don't know, I had a different idea in my head that school was supposed to be wonderful and nurturing and, teachers would love your child, when they have them all day and you get them at the end of the day with a bit more knowledge about the world. And that just didn't happen.
Right.
So I actually started teacher training late in life. So I went and did a different degree. And that was it. That's how I went into teaching. But in the meantime, he was still having a tricky time. So I decided we need to do something about this and, kind of did a few more bits and bobs for the better of all children. So,
yeah. I like how you've just completely skipped over this. I don't even think Grant knows this.
Well, we are running short on time.
Oh,
so
we're better than that then.
we don't have time for another crazy story. But I will say this to the almost 90 people that are still currently watching. If you do want more stories from Mother Teresa, because that's how I'm calling from now on. It's way too good not to do it. Let us know, and maybe we'll just kind of do a little segment every now and then where we bring you in at the end of the podcast, like after we do like our giveaway and like we end the recording, so it's only for those people watching live, and maybe you tell another story or something like that. If this is the kind of thing that you enjoy.
Mad stories. Not even kidding. You have no idea what some of these.
You
stories
think
are.
you were sick as a kid? Oh, sweet summer child. This boy here would have absolutely made his family destitute if they were American.
Yeah. Just straight up, yeah.
And I will say, so we've got some interesting things in here. So Allison Ford says, ignore half of the advice you are given. Max Makerspace says, you got to let the kids be kids. Dreams Void Doug says, kids are painful emotionally, physically, and philosophically. And Duff says to replace Jacob with you as the co-host.
Oh, I see how it is. Fine.
You've been upstage.
There you go. There you go.
No, I just want to be mom.
She's a better cook than you are, so we can just talk about
you've
lemon
never
drizzle.
tasted my
We can just talk about lemon drizzle every
Hey,
week.
you told me to turn my camera off when I started doing a cooking live stream.
That's fair, but that's because I hadn't eaten yet and I was very hungry. Speaking of, it is 8 p.m. here in Sweden, so we need to get going. We've got people from Bondtech that are, I'm sure they're laughing quite a bit right now, but we did promise them 2 hours, and we have gone over, and they all have lives to get back to.
Unlike us, who are more than happy to just chat for way too long and eventually retangent into
Can
food.
I just remind you we have a plane to catch?
That's early.
Oh, no,
morning.
that's fine. We can do that
Yeah.
on minimal sleep. Somebody else is driving.
Okay.
And Chad Kreider's actually got it. He said, have her on and call it Mum's Minute. We got the Lord Lecture, Mum's Minute, and the Grant Rant.
Things might take a bit more than a minute, though.
Oh, our stories are never straightforward enough to fit in a minute.
Well, do you know how we normally end the videos?
No, it was something.
I wrote it down for you. There you go.
Oh, you literally gave her the notes?
There you go. Look, I'm going to leave because they want you as the co-host.
No,
there
it's
you go.
staying.
You're doing the co-host job now. There you go.
Do we say it together?
No, you say it. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
I
say it
say
way
it.
too much.
Okay. Stay safe out there. Make sure to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome.
It's don't forget to call your loved ones. You wrote it wrong.
I am not good at this. So I actually have to go to any of your videos, go to the end where you sign it off, and then rewrite it down every time.
I should know this.
I should know this.
You'll learn, honey.
No,
You'll learn.
look, just like the very first time I was on the podcast and I had to do it, where I just froze, you actually said something.
You all know how it goes. Again, huge thank you to Bondtech for flying us out here, being able to experience the index and just see the amazing things they do here, meet the amazing people, and try the amazing food, because we all know this is actually a food podcast. Thank you all so much for coming out. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms to be, future, past, and present, in the US, and I guess in Denmark, and quite frankly, anywhere in the world that also happens to be Mother's Day. I guess it's Mother's Day later in the month.
I think it's end of the month for Sweden.
We have potentially frightened quite a few Swedes. But thank you all for hanging out. We're going to go send you over to Steve Builds. If you do have a couple of bucks to spare, please do not donate them to us for this show. Please donate it to the Bondtech Fonden. I'm always going to get that wrong. It's the the actual charity.
The Child Cancer Fund.
Yes.
Barncancerfonden.
Yes, it is the Swedish Children's Cancer Foundation. It is payments at bondtech.se on PayPal. If you have a couple of bucks extra, go send it to them. We don't want your money on this episode. Bondtech has made it possible for us to get out here, so we want to make sure that we can support the charities that they support as well. We'll see you all later. Go have fun with Steve. Take care. And if you haven't called your mom and your mom is still around, give her a call. Even if you haven't talked to her in quite a few years, she wants to hear from you. And if your mom isn't around, we are always sorry about that. But she's thinking of you. We all know. Take care, everybody. Be safe.